Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No. Always live. Always real. Always unpredictable.
I'm not okay with that.
It sounded good when I thought.
Log on and join our live conversation.
Yes, I don't like that.
You're 100% right.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Friday, June 7th. We are live. We're talking about what you're talking about right now. I'm here with Stephanie, Brandon, Al. I'm Tori. Sam is off. Let's get started. We're going to start off pretty serious here, guys. A horrific story out of London where a lesbian couple were viciously beaten on a bus. And a serious warning to our viewers. The picture you're about to see is graphic and may be disturbing to some. A young woman named Melania was with her girlfriend Chris when she says they were approached by a group of young men. She says the guys demanded they kiss and began making lewd comments. The confrontation turned violent, leaving the two women bloody. Melania herself posted this picture and her story to Facebook, hoping to shed light on how common violence has become. London police are still looking for the suspects, and I want to go to Stephanie, our local Brit here, but I want to open this up to a global conversation because it's not just London. Our own Michael Dean, a senior producer in the booth right now, was beaten for being queer in downtown Denver when he was 18. We had 3 transgendered people in Dallas be killed within the last year. African-American transgendered. So let's open it up to a global conversation. How do you feel, though? This is on a double-decker bus in London.
I feel really ashamed about this, and I think obviously the beauty of London is it's such an open, diverse, cultural like melting pot. So this, I think, I mean, obviously, whilst it's not rare, which is a really sad thing to say, it is unusual for London. I know that on the buses there are CCTV cameras that record everything. It looks to me as though that picture was late at night, so I wonder what time it was, and I also wonder what area it was in. And then I just feel upset that no one stepped in. But I mean, I have been in many situations in London where obviously we know in America there is a gun issue. In London, we definitely have a knife issue.
You have a knife issue, yeah.
So I've been threatened with knives. Lots of people I know have been threatened with knives, and I just feel like I wish someone had stepped in, or I don't know, there's no excuses, is there? It's awful.
And with the rise of these crimes, you're going to start seeing retaliation crimes. You know, there's a hate crime retaliation because you look at people like myself, like Al Jackson. We both have people in our family or people that we know, or everyone here that's LGBT. So you think about my sister. So you think about it, and people want vengeance. People are going to want blood. Someone touches my sister, I'm out for blood. That's just how that is. And that's not going to solve anything. I understand that. But at the same time, yes, we're progressing. We're progressing as a culture. But at the same time, there are still those people out there that you feel like you have to put in check because they're the ones that's not letting us progress and not letting our family members live their lives peacefully.
And that's why we have pride parades, to be honest. We're in the middle of June. It's Pride Month. I mean, this is why we have it. It's so important. What do you feel, Al?
I mean, just to kind of jump on what Steph said, I just can't believe that no citizen stepped in.
Yeah.
Like you said, this is a double-decker bus. This didn't happen in some kind of obscure alley or something like that. So that is a little disturbing. But what I always try and remind myself is that we are progressing. We're having these conversations. Pride is bigger than it's ever been. I think people are more accepting of different people than they ever have been. So let's not let a couple thugs take away from what we're doing as a species in general.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Way to end on a good note. Now, in related news, a Goldman Sachs executive is suing because he says he was fired for being too gay. The former vice president said he was kept off a client call because, quote, he sounded too gay on the phone. He also claims a supervisor asked him, quote, what's wrong with you? Do you act this way because you're gay, ? Goldman Sachs officials said the lawsuit was without merit. It really reminds me of Black Klansmen when they say, John David Washington was saying, I'll just speak like a white guy. And you always hear of the African Americans saying, do they sound too black? Do you sound too white? Do you sound too gay? It sort of reminds me of that. How do you think, Goldman Sachs is a pretty progressive place. You have a cousin there working there?
So my cousin used to work there, and they've worked in both the New York branch and the London branch. And I must say, it's extremely professional. It's very clean cut. And everyone that I met there was extremely polite. I was obviously way too loud to be in the building. I got asked to be quiet, and then possibly I may have been asked to leave.
Not too loud for this building.
I mean, maybe, obviously, it's a very different career, but I saw someone that had the most fabulous jawline, and I said to him in the lift, you have got the most beautiful jawline ever, which in our world would be very, it's like a nice thing to say. No, just me. Yeah, my cousin swiftly made me leave afterwards.
Yeah, but I look at it like this, because I got to play the other side to this, because we've all been fired, we've all been cut from a team, that sort of thing. So what's the first thing you say when you've been fired or you've been cut or you didn't get a role?
It's personal.
It was the coach's fault. I didn't get enough balls thrown my way. They didn't like me. I was too this.
So
I
it could
was
be
too
an
this.
excuse.
So it could be an excuse. That's why I want to sit and I want to wait. And I think Goldman Sachs, you're going to have to put out this guy's earn report. You're going to have to put out his history on what he's done since he's been hired, because he moved up the ranks pretty fast. But what has happened since he moved up the ranks till now? You're going to have to save yourself, because like you said, they've been progressive.
And to be honest, they're going to have to do that in court, because really they have to prove that they weren't discriminating
in the court
him.
of public opinion as well, though.
Exactly.
We see places get buried because of this stuff goes viral.
Yes, and you can't say you sound too gay. What are you? I mean, that's just so not okay.
It's antiquated.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now to some Hollywood breakup news, guys. Everyone, hold your tears. Bradley Cooper and Arena Shayk are on the rocks.
No, say it ain't so.
I am saying it. According to People magazine, they're calling it quits after 4 years of dating. People reports they decided to end their relationship on good terms and are working out shared custody of their daughter. There's no word on what caused the split, but we've been reporting on rumors all week that their relationship was on the rocks. Now, what do we all think of? 2 words. The Gaga. This all comes amid, or Lady Gaga. Okay, cool. That Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper could have a romance a brewin'. Remember this performance at the Oscars that had everyone talking? And no one can deny their on-screen chemistry in A Star Is Born, but do they have chemistry in real life? Well, apparently that's what a lot of people online are hoping, some even speculating, and this is total rumor, she could have his baby within the year. I don't know what
that is the most outrageous rumor I've ever heard. Does Lady Gaga probably want to get pregnant by Bradley Cooper? Hell yeah. But will she? No.
You don't think that this has anything to do? I mean, I got to be honest. Did everyone clap if you felt bad for Arena Shayk?
I felt terrible for her. I felt just me and Toss.
No, it was a little disrespectful.
Right?
I felt.
So disrespectful.
Yeah,
if that was my boyfriend, I'd be mad.
You know, and as somebody that's kind of an objective observer, because I don't really care about either of them. As human beings, I do, but like I'm not fans of either of them.
Right.
Like I just felt like if my girl was up there, like with her teeth falling out of her mouth, smiling at a guy. Whether I
Even
understand
though they were in character. They were in character.
All right. They were,
Really? They were in
was,
character at the Oscars when Lady Gaga's basically melting into his arms and wishing he'd whisper a 100 sweet nothings.
We're
Like,
asking
yeah, right.
the wrong questions here, because I don't understand how women. How are y'all giving him a pass? He's been with her for 4 years, got a kid with her, and he hasn't put the ring on it yet. If that's anybody
I'm
else,
okay with that.
What?
Progressive people really understand
It doesn't matter about a ring.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter about an object. An object doesn't matter.
Anybody else, you guys would be like,
No.
oh, he ain't ready.
Brandon, let me ask you this.
Actions are more important than an object. I'd rather have a boyfriend that doesn't absolutely humiliate me in front of basically the entire of America over and over again with someone who he's clearly appeasing because they're up for a nominee, rather than like a ring, like a metal object that doesn't mean anything.
And I do think people are moving into partnerships more than marriage, like the Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawns of us all.
I think we're being very critical of a 4 years is a good run.
That's true.
It's a good run. They broke up
4
amicably.
years is a good run.
Yeah.
If it was
Really?
sports,
I'm trying to get your kid through school.
If it was sports and you go 4 years no ring, you're getting traded. Hey, you're getting traded.
We're going to move on from there.
Cavs.
All right, Beyonce fans were up in arms. It was all over this moment at Wednesday night's NBA Finals match. A woman named Nicole Curran, who happens to be the Warriors owner's wife, was leaning over Beyonce to speak to Jay-Z. Fans noticed Beyonce giving her the side eye.
Got C-3PO legs.
And that was all they needed to pounce on Curran. Twitter erupted with comments like, "This Becky with the good hair about to get her wig split." Curran defended her action, saying, "Hey, I'm just trying to buy Beyonce and Jay-Z some drinks." She said she's even received death threats from Beehive members. Well, now Beyonce's publicist is asking fans to chill, saying, quote, "It will bring no joy to the person you love so much if you spew hate in her name." So the Beehive, has it turned into stinger or honey?
You've thought about that in
I
between
just came up with it. It didn't work.
I'll say this, let's remove, because Brandon, we both love sports, and you see the same thing. A kicker misses an extra point to go to the playoffs, to go to the Super Bowl. They get death threats. I think we need to take a step back and really, if you threaten somebody's life online, I think it should carry more weight than it does
You've always said that, a bigger deterrent.
Could I just say that to, like, it's just a cashier at the grocery? I'm going to kill you since you rang my... Can you say, Tori, you're the legal?
Unless you have a warranted threat in which a reasonable person believes you are going to act on that threat, there's very little you can do.
Listen, that's not fair.
I don't think that's
very
fair
little
at all.
But you know what? I'm sorry, and Steph, we feel the same way. We don't want to hear from the spokesperson.
No.
We don't want to hear from the publicist.
You want to hear from Beehive.
I want to hear from Queen Bee herself to tell the Beehive to back off, because now we're getting into death threats. The thing with Amari Hardwick, that's one thing. That was warranted.
Explain that.
Amari Hardwick tried to kiss her too many times.
At the award show,
at the award show, right in front of Jay-Z. It's a little bit disrespectful. Back up, bro. But this right here, someone trying to buy him a drink, unless she was trying to offer him anything but Douce, which Jay-Z owns, then I don't see a problem with what she did.
I think, you know what, I think it went on a little bit too long. You can see Beyonce clearly looks uncomfortable. Her body language it's not very warm whatsoever. I mean, look at this. Did she do anything wrong asking Jay-Z, does he want a drink? No, but maybe she was too forward, shall we say. But I think Beyonce here definitely needs to stand up, say something. I think she's encouraged this, if I'm being brutally honest. She's posted pictures on her own Instagram where she's clearly cut this lady out.
All right, so we want to hear from Queen Bee is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically, someone's getting death threats. Yeah, stand up, come on.
And DBL Nation, let us know what you think. We do have some sad news, guys, from the music world. Today, we are remembering a New Orleans music legend. Dr. John has passed away. He passed away yesterday at the age of 77 after a heart attack. The Grammy Award winner is well known for his music, like this hit, Right Place, Wrong Time.
And I'll say this, I don't think he's dead. I think he'll live on in New Orleans clubs forever.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I'll take 77 Dr. John New Orleans years.
Those are some good years.
Those are some good years.
That's some good years.
Put the funk into the music, baby. You know?
Right.
And it's funny because I was reading up on him, and they said that at 13 years old, he used to play the organ in strip clubs around the Third Ward. How would I know that? What was I searching? I don't know. But I feel as though that just goes to show like how great this person is and how you knew his legacy was going to rise and he was going to be what he
rest in power. I hope he's playing up in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
DBL is live. We'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. Coming up, we're showing you guys the hottest summer nail trends, including designs that change color with your mood. What? And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. Now that Julia Roberts and Patricia Arquette have spoken out about sex scenes in movies, the debate is heating up. Are such scenes even necessary? All your comments coming up next. All right, guys, we're just talking about the Beyonce 2, and XOOX says, Steph, Beyonce didn't look agitated, just tired AF. No. But I think some of us thought so. Al, I think the Beehive is mostly kids who send those kind of threats. What adults have that much time on their hands? Do you guys agree with that?
I agree.
I never thought of that.
I don't like the word mostly. It's like, yeah,
I never thought of it.
What if 95% of them are harmless?
I never thought of
it. One person. I can't believe you can just throw death threats around like that, but you can't yell fire, which is...
Because it's not a threat. What it is causing panic, and panic will cause harm.
But this is causing her panic.
It's going to cause panic.
She got off of social media.
The panic of many people all running at once is clear and present danger. But is that what you're getting at? Where is it?
Yeah, but I don't understand this, man. We need to start regulating this stuff because, like, have your, whatever social media you're on, that has to be registered to your social security number.
I can't.
Now. You have to have a face behind this stuff.
Jeff is our co-host and has always advocated licensing social media, and I've always been strongly against it. But I got to be honest.
Why so strongly against it?
Because it's not only slippery slope. It's
an outlet.
Well, it's an outlet for a huge amount of freedom of speech, and when you start having
but stand
licensing,
behind what you're saying. What do you mean freedom of speech?
You don't have to in America.
I have the freedom. If I'm gonna say, hey, Jure, I don't like the makeup stuff you're using on Tori. Put your name behind it. Say it with your chest.
Yeah, you want to, but some guy in Omaha doesn't want to.
Coward.
You can say that, but it doesn't mean it's illegal.
You're a coward.
That's fine, but it doesn't mean they're illegal.
No, that's a coward. But then, okay, so then if I'm gonna be like, Jure, stop using that type of makeup or I'm gonna kill you. Now I've gone to a death threat. That's legal?
But then is that a plausible threat?
Correct. So to a reasonable person, do we believe you, Brandon, who loves Dre, would actually do that? That's what you have to take in consideration.
Dre, I'll chop you.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. A social media post about sex scenes in movies and TV shows has sparked an online debate. Recently, Patricia Arquette and Julia Roberts discussed the awkwardness of sex scenes. Well, now a Reddit poll reveals that several viewers share the same sentiment. Some agree and say they're not necessary, while others say sultry scenes help develop characters and can actually make the movie. So, DBL Nation, should movies and TVs have sex scenes?
All right. Roberta from Facebook says, I think that most movies can just imply that characters are about to have sex. That accomplishes the same thing as showing
Does it?
No, because there are certain times where you have to set up that scene. You have to show that passion, and you have to show that raunchiness. So if you don't like it, like my mom used to say when we were watching those type of movies, eyes, and then, you know, you have your heads there, and then you try to peek through. Yeah, so you just cover your eyes.
Cover your eyes, all right.
Kimberly from YouTube says, sex is a part of life. Why would you not show it? I agree, Kimberly. I just think that the movies need to be rated accordingly. So we need to know what we're going into. I mean, we do that anyway. We have PG, we have 18, etc., etc. So I think as long as things are clearly labelled, then I see no issue with it whatsoever.
I'd agree. And I'd also say I think those labels are a little antiquated at this point. By the time somebody's 12, unfortunately, if they got one of these, they've seen everything.
Oh,
so.
And is it because we have porn, let's be honest, on our phones, does that make the sex scenes unnecessary?
I don't have porn on my phone, but I think you just told everybody. Tony from YouTube says, I don't mind sex in movies at all. The violence and death is what I could do without. Tony, I think that all these things we're talking about, some people are fine with sex but don't like the violence. Some people are fine with violence but don't like the sex. Look, everybody's going to have their different tastes and different strokes for different folks. So I think what we need to do is just let people know kind of in the trailer what they're getting ready for and allow them to decide.
Yeah, maybe ratings also what you were saying. James from Twitter says, sex scenes in movies are usually completely unnecessary, add nothing to the plot or character development. They just usually make me feel uncomfortable depending on who I'm watching with. Yet it's always annoying when your dad or mom walks in right on the scene and you're like, okay, here we go.
I used to have to hide my face.
Say, that's how you got here.
Yeah, and you're like, okay. But I will say movies like Ghost, 50 Shades of Grey, Brokeback Mountain to some people, Titanic, the moment of Legends of the Fall, for me personally, that moment was actually really a big part of the plot. So I actually am okay with it as long as the rating is super strict so parents know.
All right.
I'm sorry, Brandon, do you have one more boring movie you want to list? Wow.
Are you serious?
Yes, those movies are so boring. I almost want
Ghost?
Yeah, well, Ghost.
Wait,
Ghost is fine.
Give me a break.
Ghost is amazing.
You in trouble, girl.
Sex scene?
Yeah, the pottery one, remember?
Yeah.
With the clay?
That was
Stop doing
super
your hands
sexy.
like that. We know the scene.
Okay,
We're
I'm
gonna get
sorry.
taken off air. Let's get to this one. Denaja from Twitter says, am I weird for skipping sex scenes in movies? No, you're not. I would rather you do that than them not put that in there. So it's viewer discretion advised, and you watch it at your own discretion.
Well said.
Yeah, I get paid too, girl.
Very good.
They ain't pick his name out of a hat. He's here for a reason.
Very nice. All right, coming up on DBL, elevate your nail game and really make your fingers sparkle. Look at this. We'll show you how real flowers can do the trick. Look at this summer nail. Yes, coming up next.
Now, you just saw a clip from the groundbreaking film Fast Color, starring Gugu Mbatha Raw and Sanaya Sidney. It's about 3 generations of women who reunite as a family to channel their superhuman powers. Now, Gugu and Sanaya share what it's like being 2 female leads in a sci-fi action movie in today's Chatting with the Stars. Gugu and Sanaya, thank you so much for joining us at DBL. And you two met during auditions for Fast Color and instantly bonded because of your unique names. Now, what was that conversation like, and what do your names mean?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I met Sanaya at the audition, you're right, and I said, oh, Sanaya, I've never heard that name before. What does it mean? And Sanaya said,
Radiant and brilliant.
Ooh.
Radiant and brilliant. I was like, wow. And my name is Gugaletu, my full name, and it means our pride. And I was like, I think we're going to get along because we both got these epic names.
Well, it looks like you wouldn't have bonded with me because I'm just Brandon. You know, I don't know what the significance is behind that.
I don't know.
I try and roll the R sometimes, Brandon. Now, so Black Panther was one of the first major films to feature black women as superheroes. Were your characters written as black females?
No. I mean, when I read the script, it was just Ruth, Bo, and Lila. There was no sort of ethnic specificity about the characters.
Now, Google, what was it like playing a superhero struggling with sobriety?
This is definitely an unconventional superhero story, and for me, you know, as you said, Ruth is, you know, has her addictions, and you know, she's in recovery, and for me, that really grounded the story in a recognizable reality. It gave it something really in the real world to struggle against. You know, this isn't like a superhero movie with capes and weapons and you know, crazy.
Welcome back to DBL. Whether it's for an upcoming vacation or a special night out, if you're looking to make a statement with your nails this summer, we've got the hottest trends in today's DBL Style 101 class. Our own Stephanie Jones, Erica Cobb, and I went to Mainstream Nails to learn what's hot this summer.
This is going to be so much fun.
I'm excited.
Hello, Allie. How are you? Welcome to Mainstream.
Thank you. I'm so excited
Welcome
today.
back.
Thank you for having us.
So what are you ladies thinking of doing today?
Okay, well, I'm going on holiday.
Okay.
So I want some really pretty nails that they're a bit funky.
Well, you know me. I'm mainstream through and through, so I'm going to do girls' night. We got to give them something to hate on.
And I garden. We can work with that. We can work with that. All right, ladies, let's go have some fun. Today, Stephanie is doing some pastels, and we are gonna add on some pigment. So it's called unicorn pigment that kind of creates a really cool, colorful effect.
I'm having mood polish, which goes on in like a turquoise, but then it turns white. I'm really excited because watch this finger. Look how blue it is, and just you wait and you will see.
And since she's going on vacation, we want to give her some starfishes, seashell charms, just to make it pop a little bit. So with Tori's nails, we're gonna just extend them a little bit for her. So then we'll just attach these extensions on and then polish.
So Lena is going to chop this down to what she calls, quote, practical length, and I'm all, oh, nuts.
Okay, so with Erica, we are going to encapsulate some dried flowers. They're actually real dried flowers, and we're gonna make her look like summer.
Yay!
To a successful day at the nail salon. Cheers.
Cheers.
I mean, I think we kind of nailed it, right? We'll be right back.
Okay, so we've had loads of actually comments, people feeling my pain with the donuts. Apparently, Kimberly Machuzak on YouTube wrote in saying that we have to get donuts from Glazed and Confused Donuts or OMG Donuts, the best donuts in Denver. Okay, Dre is saying don't get it. Kimberly's, okay, Dre's saying no. Now, I've heard, rumor on the grapevine is that Voodoo Donuts is the best donuts. So, everyone's so divided on this. Kelly likes Krispy Kreme.
Lamar.
No, Krispy Kreme is local though, but if you're going local, go somewhere else. But no, Voodoo Donuts are too frou-frou.
No, Voodoo Donuts is terrible.
Yeah, they don't even taste good.
Or Winchell's. Winchell's is kind of hood.
Okay,
Not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie.
No hood donut.
I'm not gonna lie. Someone mega cute wrote me and said they might bring me a donut. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, bring the donut. If you're gonna bring Stephanie one, though, just go ahead and bring a dozen.
Opening a can of worms.
Or two. Or
And
three
they've,
dozen.
and they've got a poorly dog called Daisy, so wish Daisy to get better.
Oh, what Daisy? That's my best friend's name.
It's a boxer dog.
It's a boxer? Well, that explains my best friend kind of, so it makes sense.
There we
But
go. So
good luck, girl.
Good luck, Daisy. Get better, and also good luck me with my donut quest.
Yeah, your face is beat. Michelle did a great job on your
We've
makeup
got
today.
a temporary makeup artist in. She's here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, Lena's going to Japan.
I
Ooh,
know.
Exciting.
I'm so jealous.
Me
so
too.
I was her test run today.
And
She looks great. What do you guys think?
What do you think of the look? What do you reckon, people?
She's cute. Is she cute? Let us know. Also,
You watch them be like, no,
right, like we
she's
hate
hanging.
it. Actually, never let her back on. What are your plans for this week and stuff?
I am looking after a doggy,
Fun.
and I'm going on a hike with Stu on Sunday.
That sounds wonderful.
So me and Stu are going out on Sunday. If you don't remember Stu, he's our studio manager.
Stu McGrew movie
Yes.
reviews. Yeah.
Stu, me and you going on a hiking date, aren't we, love? Yeah.
Sure are, yeah.
So,
I'm moving this weekend, so that's always fun.
You're
It's like
moving?
a
Oh yeah,
girl.
because he's moving his place. This
Yeah.
has been on the cards for a while.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just moving like to a different apartment complex. So within Denver, so I'm not leaving the show yet.
Don't leave. I'm like, oh no.
Just kidding. I got like I'm contracted.
Okay, XOOX on YouTube says any donut is a good donut in my opinion. Okay, I'm very particular. I only like, well, this is maybe it's very British of me, but we don't have all the fancy donuts that Americans have. We literally have like plain glazed, or we have like jam, which you guys call jelly, isn't
Yeah,
it?
jelly.
I have a question though. Doesn't jam have like stuff in it?
What do you mean, like seeds?
Like strawberries
like
or.
bits of fruit, and
Yeah.
jelly is just there drinks there? Sans fruit.
That's how I
Oh, I
feel.
don't know. I like it
so,
with bits
at
in. Au natural, baby.
I like cake
extra
donuts.
sugar, which will send me crazy.
I like cake donuts.
Cake donuts.
I do too.
Those are the best.
Welcome back to DBL. A South Carolina middle school teacher is going viral for his tribute to Beyonce. He promised a student he would learn to dance to the song Before I Let Go if the student aced an exam. Well, she did, and he kept his promise. Watch this. Talk about dedication. The teacher knew the 14-year-old student loved dancing and gave her an incentive she couldn't refuse. She choreographed the dance herself, and he certainly does give it justice.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's
Like,
good.
he's good.
He's not just like having a cute
He's not
moment.
like, I'm a dad teacher.
Yeah, he's got some moves.
He's like feeling it.
Let's do even more with it. Like, he should get a bunch of the teachers, start like a fundraiser for that, or start some
Dance
sort
for
of
Aces.
initiative to get all the kids on board.
Yeah.
Get them all.
I bet Al would have been doing stuff like that. Al was an awesome
Less good
teacher.
moves. All right, we'll see you on Monday, same time, same place.
Hi guys, Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. Happy Friday. I am tracking all the breaking and trending news, and on that note, I do have a breaking story update for you. The story we're actually leading with the lesbian couple who was attacked in London. Police have arrested 4 teenagers in connection with the attack. The Metropolitan Police there said 4 males aged between 15 and 18 have been arrested on suspicion of robbery and causing bodily harm. So good news there, terrible news of this attack, but good news that 4 teenagers have been arrested in connection with the attack. So let's hope those are the perpetrators. Let's hope they get what they deserve, because this attack is horrific. So we're going to be talking about it again coming up in this show, but I wanted to give you that breaking news update as soon as I could. All right, we've got a great rest of stories coming up as well, so stay tuned for the show. Happy Friday. Bye.
Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Friday, June 7th. We are live, and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. I'm here with Stephanie, Jeff, Al, and I'm Erica.
Hold on, Erica. Before you start, you're hosting. You got to give us a Friday.
Oh, it's Friday! It's Friday. Yes. Yeah, our PMA is at a 10. That's positive mental attitude.
I like it.
Check it.
I like
There we
it.
go.
Well, we are actually starting with a pretty horrific story today out of London, where a lesbian couple was viciously beaten on a bus. And a serious warning to our viewers. The picture you're about to see are graphic and may be disturbing. A young woman named Melania was with her girlfriend, Chris, when she says they were approached by a group of young men. The guys demanded they kiss and began making lewd comments. The confrontation turned violent, leaving the two women bloody. Melania posted this picture and her story to Facebook, hoping to shed light on how common violence has become. And just in, 4 teenagers have been arrested in connection to the attack, according to CNN. You know, this story hits me very close to home. I take this very personally. I think it's really important that we have these conversations because I think that we believe that we're in a different era. But when you have young people doing these types of acts, they're emboldened from somewhere else, and I think that it starts at the top and it goes down.
This is really, to say this was in my city where I used to live, obviously, for many years, it's like so heartbreaking. And London, honestly, it's such a diverse, melting pot of culture. Everyone is welcome there. So the fact that this has happened is horrendous, and it just also wakes you up to think this isn't over by any means of the imagination. Also, the area it was in was West Hampstead, which is a really affluent area. So the fact that no one stepped in, no one did anything, breaks my heart. I'm so glad they've been arrested.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like I'm always trying to be positive and saying we are on our way. We are getting better. Unfortunately, there are always going to be bad people in this world. But then when you see stories like this, you think like, I don't even know what to say. What are you thinking? What's going on? Why didn't somebody step in? You know,
so
it's like
the reason I assume, if it was on the bus and at night, the only reason I can possibly imagine, I'm not saying this is right at all, but like I say about the gun crime in America, we have a very big situation with knives, especially with young males, and especially in North London, which is where this was. So the only thing I can imagine is, were people scared of that? For that, I don't know, but still, I don't know why the bus driver didn't stop. I don't know why someone didn't intervene. Something. Well,
At least they were caught in a timely manner. Yes. I think that that's something that we can all be appreciative of. But the idea that this happened at all, of course, is heartbreaking.
Hope they make an example out of it.
Exactly. Well, in related news, a Goldman Sachs executive is suing because he says he was fired for being, quote, too gay. The former VP says he was kept off a client call because he sounded too gay on the phone. He also claims a supervisor asked him, quote, "What's wrong with you? Do you act this way because you're gay?" Goldman Sachs officials said the lawsuit was without merit.
Again, we still have a lot of learning to do, apparently, you know, as a people.
You know, I wonder, a lot of these stories, this happens every day. Okay, let's just be clear about it. I think that because we're in Pride Month, it's a heightened sensitivity. Like, obviously, people are paying more attention, but every month should be Pride Month where people are paying attention. Because I feel like an injustice for anyone is an injustice for everyone. So people need to get really clear about where their sensitivities lie.
Right, and right now this is an accusation. I just, like, when I think about Wall Street, I always think that the only thing that they care about isn't black, white, it's green. And I wonder if, you know, obviously we don't have any details, but I can't imagine if this person is making money hand over fist for this company that is only motivated by money, that they would still be there. Now, I don't know that for a fact. Do I agree that gay people are discriminated against on a daily basis? Of course. I'm just saying, in situations, I know when I've been fired, it's never been Al's fault. So it's always my boss, or hey, he didn't give me a chance, or they didn't tell me really what to do there. But so I mean, it's hard when you are let go. It's emotional. Mm-hmm. So I'm not obviously no one knows what went on here, but I just find it surprising from a company that's supposed to be pretty progressive.
Well, has anyone ever told you that you were too black?
No, not to my face.
That's interesting.
Not to my face.
Because I've been told that many times. Well, Jeff's been invited to several barbecues.
Yeah.
I love it.
We're going to move on because on a Monday, we have a very special guest joining us, Nat Worth. He was the valedictorian of his high school in Wisconsin this year, but his graduation speech was canceled because he wrote about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school. You don't want to miss this very powerful story. That's on Monday, and we're very much looking forward to that. Well, Beyonce fans were up in arms, and it was over this moment at Wednesday night's NBA Finals game. A woman named Nicole Curran, who happens to be the Warrior owner's wife, was leaning over Beyonce to speak to Jay-Z. Fans noticed Beyonce giving her the side eye, and that was all they needed to pounce on Curran. Twitter erupted with comments like, "This Becky with the good hair about to get her wig split." Curran defended her actions, saying she was just trying to buy Beyonce and Jay-Z drinks. She says she's even received death threats from Beehive members. Well, now Beyonce's publicist is asking fans to chill, saying it will bring no joy to the person you love so much if you spew hate in her name.
I like that message that her team put out there, because there is no reason for that. You know what I mean? Like, these people think like, again with the social media, they think like they're connected to the person, and somehow, and if they stick up for Beyonce, she's going to invite them over for dinner or something. That's not the case. You can't just be hating on someone for no reason.
Right, and I mean, I feel like we're just throwing around death threats very willy-nilly. If I tell somebody I'm about to kill them and I write that on social media, something maybe is going down. I mean, I take it that seriously. So the fact that somebody's asking somebody's drink order and that's enough for, you know, for somebody to threaten death, I don't know. Jeff, I know you're all for licensing social media, and I know our own Tori Shulman would say, well, it has to be a plausible threat. I'm like, how do you determine that? Right. After the person's at your front door, after the person pops up in your back seat, is it plausible now? I don't know. I don't have time to nitpick with death threats.
I think, does this warrant death threats? Absolutely not. Are Beyonce's fans very protective of her? Absolutely yes. So she's made it very clear about the infidelities that Jay-Z had, and I think that's why they feel so emotionally invested in her, and if they feel that she's being, you know, attacked or upset in any way. And you can see here Beyonce's body language clearly is, you know, not open to this lady.
Right.
And also, I don't think
that's fair to say.
I don't think that Beyonce has helped the situation. The reason being, she posted a lot of videos and images on Instagram, and it's clear that she's really cropped this lady out. She clearly, for photos, is looking displeased. But at this point, I really think Beyonce should say, I mean, she's never going to do it. I think Beyonce, even if she made a little video on Instagram that's like 5 seconds long, like, hey guys, it's all good. Like, don't worry about it. I handled it. I don't know.
Well, but I don't think she needs to address it at all. I think the reason why her fans are so protective, and I am not condoning death threats because that is so over the top, but the reason why they're so protective is because people constantly come for Beyonce because she's at the top. And so Beyonce has decided very smartly to let other people handle her lightweight. And that's really what it is. It's handling her lightweight because she's above it. I can appreciate that. They're being extra because Beyonce is a very extraordinary person. So the idea that people are being protective of her, who else is going to protect her if it's not her fans, you know, from the public persona of what people are going to say about her.
Right.
I understand that part, but I think it's just gone a little too far.
Within reason.
Right,
yes.
Exactly. Well, there's another moment from the NBA Finals which is drawing a lot of attention right now. NBA officials are banning this man, who is a part owner of the Warriors team, after he shoved a player courtside during the game. Venture capitalist Mark Stevens was also accused of directing obscene language at the Raptors point guard during the exchange. After the game, the Raptors player Kyle Lowry said, he had no reason to touch me. He had no reason to reach over 2 seats and then say some vulgar language to me. Well, the NBA agreed, slapping a $500,000 fine on him and banning him from attending games for an entire year. Stevens has since apologized, saying it was a lapse in judgment. What? Really? A lapse in judgment?
I mean, $500,000 to a venture capitalist. I mean, he has that in his couch cushions. Yeah. Let's be honest about this. Everybody went crazy. We all remember the Malice in the Palace. If you don't know, Steph, there was a big fight in which some basketball players went into the stands and fought some fans. It almost cost the Indiana Pacers their franchise. Right. Like, I mean, it it set them back 10 years. So how is it different when a fan basically goes on the court and assaults a player? Obviously, he did not push him very hard. Kyle Lowry's a big guy, but it is still assault. A player will get fined $30,000, $40,000 for throwing his mouthpiece or mouthing off to the ref or criticizing the officials. So why is this not greed? I think he should have a lifetime ban. He did not fall on top of Kyle. He reached over and pushed him and then said something. So that's entitlement to the nth degree.
I worked in an NBA arena for 5 years, and I have to, first of all, you're on the field of play. Anytime you're sitting courtside, you're a part of, like, you're on where they're playing. You're exactly right there. So the idea of you not being, like, aware of that, especially as an owner, and that's where I really get upset about it, because the Donald Sterling thing was the idea of ownership. You can own a team, you don't own people. So when you're talking about someone reaching over and putting their hands on a player, that means you have lost your way in what you actually own. You don't own these men own themselves. You own a team that's a part of it, and you shouldn't be an owner if you don't know the difference, because I think it's very unclear to this individual.
Jeff, do you think it was hard enough?
It's a start. I think the NBA needs to do something. I don't mean to bring up Drake into this whole thing, but he shouldn't be touching people either. You know what I mean? They need to set a precedent for everybody. This is what's going down. You start touching people, you start touching players, lifetime ban. They need to draw a line in the sand.
Completely agree with you. Definitely.
Well, DBL is live, and we'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. And coming up, Alec Baldwin gets blunt about playing the president. Why the actor's day as the commander-in-chief may be numbered. Then it's all over for Bradley Cooper and Irina Shayk. But could another woman be in the mix? Ooh. And you, the viewer, are our fifth host now that Julia Roberts and Patricia Arquette have spoken out against sex scenes in movies. The debate is heating up. Are sex scenes even necessary? Your comments are next.
Hi there, DBL Nation. Happy Friday. It's Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital Team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news, but I think right now the hosts they're just chatting it up over there, so I want to go see what they're talking about. Let's go.
You look like a princess at the wall. Like the Night's Watch.
Al just told Steph she looks like a princess. I will take that any day.
I like that.
I'll take that. I need a bit of like, faux fur going on, and then I've definitely got or a wolf. A dire wolf, and then I'll take that. But
that'd be nice.
I just got a really nice email from our security front desk telling us that there's an ice cream truck outside. Are you going? Is that where everyone's walking to?
Well, in a minute.
Oh, that's nice.
Are we not going to get an ice cream? Why is there not a donut truck here? It's donut day.
I think
I'm the only one
that our viewers really understand what's going on behind the scenes in terms of the lack of donuts in this place for National Donut Day.
I was saying the other day it was National Cheese Day, and Jeff and I and Brandon played a game called Name That Cheese. Where's Name the Donut? Different types of jam, different types of custard.
By the way, I know you like jam in your donut. I don't like any cream. I don't like anything.
You don't like Boston creams?
No. I'm not going to say this without saying it gross. I don't like any, I don't like things exploding in my mouth. You know, I don't want to bite into something. Remember, they had gum? Gushers. Yeah, gushers. I didn't like that sensation, biting the gum.
Oh, man. Gushers. I kind of want one right now.
Oh, that gel?
Dude, I kind of like that.
What's a gusher?
It's like a candy, but then you bite into it, it's like there's gel in there, strawberry
it's like
gel.
Gum with gel in it. So you bite it, it would gush the flavor out, and then you chew the gum.
But it never lasted, but the flavor was good.
Right. It was,
right?
I just don't like that sensation.
Can somebody send some gushers?
Dude, that's a throwback.
Do they still sell those?
I don't know, but I kind of want some. Yeah. You can still get those. Yeah. There's stores, sometimes you go to the little town stores and they have all the throwback candy.
I might want some throwback candy.
There's a couple. Give me candy.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, when we talk about what you're talking about. A social media post about sex scenes in movies and TV shows has sparked an online debate. Recently, Patricia Arquette and Julia Roberts discussed the awkwardness of sex scenes. Now, a Reddit poll reveals that several viewers share the same sentiment. Some agree and say they're not necessary, while others say sultry scenes help develop characters and can actually make the movie. So, DBL Nation, should movies and TV shows include sex scenes?
All right, Erica, let's get right to it. Barb from Facebook says sex and violence have become gratuitous in movies nowadays. Most of the time, we don't need either one. Well, Barbara, it depends on the movie, and that's for showing the sex scene. I think that certain movies are based really around the buildup of these two characters ultimately either fighting in a violent sense, if it's a fantasy movie, or in a sexual sense, it's building up. So I think that you need to show that part, because that's what we've been waiting an hour and 20 minutes for. Come on, I don't want to just see you guys shut the door and see the light go off.
Love it.
I want to see somebody just flew by in the studio.
A moth just flew by.
A moth just flew by in front of our faces.
All right, now the moth just killed my point. I had a great point, Moth.
Carly from Facebook says, I'm okay with it as long as anything beyond kissing gets an R rating. Parents need to know what movies to not let their kids see. Well, Carly, I do really agree with the rating of movies, and I think that, the film houses, production companies have got that down pretty much to a T. So you have 12, you have 12A, so 12 on your own, 12 with an adult, 18, etc., etc. I think maybe times have moved on from when those laws were initially put into place, and they need to be revamped because we're being exposed to so much more at a younger age now. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a sex scene. If you don't like it, do what I did when I was sat next to my mum and dad on the sofa.
Got to cover your ears too.
Oh yeah.
Depends what you're watching. Joanne from Facebook says, if I'm watching a show at home, I usually fast forward anyway. I don't need to watch them to enjoy the rest of the movie. There you go. Close your eyes, fast forward, do what you need to do. But I mean, I don't mean to get into Julia Roberts and Patricia Arquette here, but boo-hoo, I'm getting $20 million a movie to fake like I'm making love. Come on, get over it. Sorry.
I like it.
Well, Beth from Facebook says sex scenes are okay as long as they're tasteful. However, rape scenes should never be shown in a movie. Beth, I can understand, and I think that some of us have a more heightened sensitivity. I do not. A big part of the reason why I wasn't a big Game of Thrones person was because I can't really get down with the sexual violence. So I can understand what you're saying, but I do think it's fantasy, and it's also an audience for everything. So I'm not trying to hurt other people's stuff.
All right. And Ralph from Facebook says, I think sex scenes are fine as long as they have artistic merit. Ralph, I mean, I think you could say the same thing about anything with artistic merit, but I think also, and let's be honest here, sometimes watching a sex scene with your partner, not everybody's as good at getting things kicked off. So sometimes when you see it on the screen, you're like, yeah, that's us in 20 minutes. It might help you out a little bit.
Sometimes it's really awkward though. Like,
Yeah.
like on reality shows when people start kissing loud and stuff, it's like, man.
Yeah.
I never did that.
Did you and Jordan ever share a kiss on TV, or that was after?
We kissed a little bit, but there was no anything else going on.
You had a smooch.
Yeah, we did.
Was that your first smooches on camera?
I believe so.
That's cool.
Point. Yeah, right. But that's it. Nothing else went down.
All right.
That's cute.
We would never besmirch her name.
Besmirching. You want to get one more comment in?
Brian from Facebook says, as a society, we're becoming desensitized to sex and intimacy way too much. Movies are largely to blame for that. Okay, yeah, I think we are being desensitized to sex and intimacy, and I think mainly for me that's also down to social media and other forms of sexual content like porn online. So I think it depends completely on the environment, the situation. If you're an adult, monitor your children, see what they're watching, see who they're following, and if you're older, just make sure it's in a healthy way.
Yeah. Well, thank you, DBL, for sharing your comments. And coming up on DBL, Brad Pitt has had enough. We'll tell you why he's getting tough in his divorce proceedings against Angelina Jolie. But first, a devoted teacher gets the gift of life when she least expected it. Miracles really do happen when we come back.
It's only a Hey DBL Nation, and welcome to The Breaks. I've got a trending story for you out of foxbusiness.com, and Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos gave this advice to those considering starting their own business. So my budding entrepreneurs out there, listen up. This is some great advice for y'all. His biggest piece of advice is if you want to be an entrepreneur, the most important thing is to be customer obsessed, to go all the way for the customer. Don't just be satisfactory. Don't just, be customers always right. No, the customer is the delight of the business, everybody. And then he had another piece of advice as well, that you've got to have some passion for the arena you're going to develop and work in. Otherwise, you're going to be competing against people who do have that passion. And they're going to build better products and service. I mean, it goes back to that. Passion and dedication, they go hand in hand. I run geeklygoods.com, guys, and it's a great experience. I'm loving it. I'm building YouTube videos every week, selling products. I really enjoy being an entrepreneur myself, but he's exactly right. You have to be passionate about these things, or else somebody's going to come along, whisk you away, because if you're not passionate, why even do it? Ask yourself before you even start the business, am I passionate about this? Sit down and really take some time to look things up and really question yourself whether or not you're going to love doing this every single day, because if you don't wake up and love doing that, not worth doing it, everybody. The DBO Nation, write us in and let us know what you think about this. Are you starting your own business, or have you? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments, and we'll see you next break.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Hard Threads is all about unexpected miracles. Watch how faith helped a woman survive the toughest battle of her life. These women are connected through school, faith, and kidneys. After doctors diagnosed Nikisha with stage 5 kidney disease, she spent 3 nights every week after school on dialysis. She never took a sick day, determined to push ahead for her students and family, despite how long it could take to get a match for a new kidney.
They explained to me it'd take 4 to 5 years to get a kidney donor.
Nikisha tried asking friends and family for help, but none were matches. But when Tiffany, a school social worker, learned of Nikisha's struggle, she felt a calling in her heart to help her.
It's like in my heart, I knew that God was just saying, you've got to step up. And the question isn't why, it's why not.
Doctors tested Tiffany's kidneys for 6 months before she knew for sure.
She ran into my room, then she stood outside my door, and she had this sign said, Jesus chose me for you. And I screamed, I cried.
They both went into surgery this spring and made it through successfully, officially intertwining their lives forever.
I am truly blessed. Words will never be able, I guess, to describe how I truly feel, and I truly love you for that. Thank you.
What a beautiful heart there. It's coming up on DBL. Bradley Cooper is single again after ending it with Irina Shayk. But will he be on the market for long? And it's the show everyone is watching, but are you? We'll tell you why Chernobyl is wowing audiences and critics alike.
Have a little look and see what everyone is saying on the old social media. Okay, we're talking a lot about donuts still. Everyone's loving the donut thing. So apparently, oh wow, Barb on YouTube wrote, there's a store in Kittery, Maine. I don't know where that is. Kittery, Maine.
You know where Maine is?
No, I don't know where
Maine's on
Maine
the
is.
East Coast. It's like, it borders Canada, and it's not like
Oh, that's
very
far
top.
away.
Yeah. It's actually one of the least inhabited states in the United States.
Apparently there has throwback candy. It's amazing, and it's called Yummies. So if anyone's there, please go, take a picture, buy some candy, show me what they've got. I love sweets so much. We've also had a lot of comments about a mixture of things like with bullying and assault, and obviously this has come from a few different stories we've had this morning. One was obviously with Beyonce and the woman in question now getting death threats, and then also with the two girls, the two lesbians in London that were on a bus and they got attacked. Now, this is literally so heartbreaking. It's unacceptable. I feel really ashamed of my city. Honestly, London is such a diverse place. It's culturally so inclusive, and the fact that this has even happened is so shocking. The fact that it was in a public place and no one stepped in is absolutely baffling to me. I would love to know how many people were on the bus. It looked like that to me looked like a double-decker bus. So I wondered if they were on the top of the bus, if they were on the bottom of the bus. Did the driver know? Obviously people must have heard a scuffle. Did he pull over? I would love to know more information about it. But it's just so heartbreaking. But the good thing about London is that we do have a lot of cameras, and they record pretty much every movement. They're on the buses, they're on the tubes, they're on the underground, they're everywhere. And so that's how the police have managed to capture the 4 suspects
Michael,
that attacked
you're gonna eat that
2
or spill it
women.
on your shirt?
So at least they've been brought into everyone's just talking about ice
You're gonna eat that or you're gonna spill it on your shirt?
Look at them, they've all got ice cream.
Oh, Chris got a waffle cone too.
We've all got ice cream. No one's brought us ice cream. No one's brought me a donut. I'm not happy.
Happy host. Look at this is funny. When the thing's not funny, but I got a funny. Follow the tribe. They have funny stuff.
By the way,
does it look like
that? Is
did I tell you I gained a pound back?
Are we still on this
I
thing?
stopped and got frozen yogurt twice this week.
I gained a couple. I gained like 3 or 4
all
pounds.
the weight,
221 and 5.
all the weight I lost with the challenge is definitely back on.
We need another challenge.
I'm chunkier than ever.
That's good ice cream. You ever have Chunky Monkey?
No.
That is yours.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Al, you got some?
I do. All right. Gloria from Facebook watching us on KHOU in Houston says it all depends on the movie. Talking about whether they should show sex scenes. Melinda from Facebook watching in St. Louis. What's up, St. Louis? Tell Nelly we said hello. I skipped those parts. Even as an adult, I see no purpose. They can only lead up to it, and then I move on. So you like the build up? I appreciate that. And finally, Debbie watching us in Sacramento, Sacktown. She says, I think there should be something left to the imagination. So, all right, a very discreet audience we got out there.
I like it. I respect it.
Honestly, I remember being younger with my mum and dad and it being on TV or something, and I was so embarrassed. And it got to the point where I stopped hiding and hiding like this, and then I just had to pretend to be cool with it, like I'm cool enough to be fine with it.
There you go.
We've all had those moments. If you're leaving us right now, you can still watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Here's what's coming up next on Daily Blast Live.
Bradley Cooper and Irina Shayk are over, done, kaput. But will another leading lady pick up the pieces of Bradley's broken heart? Then, here comes the drama when a bride cancels her special day to spite her mother-in-law. What led to her drastic measures? And is Alec Baldwin ready to dump Trump? The reason the actor says it's over. Coming up on DBL.
Rafe Fiennes, welcome to Daily Blast Live. So happy to have you on. I watched your film, The White Crow, last night. Outstanding. Well done. You recently set the internet on fire when you revealed how Voldemort's wand works. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and even though the last movie came out 8 years ago, people are still fascinated with your character. And did I hear you originally turn down the role? Why?
I didn't say no. I just was on the fence about it for some time. I think I was trying to sort of say I don't think it's for me until my sister Martha, who has 3 children, and said to me, "What are you thinking? You're asking you to play Voldemort? You're mad. You must play this part."
Thank goodness nobody could play Voldemort but you. Let's move on to your film, The White Crow. It is a beautiful movie about a complicated life. I read that you've spent the past 20 years trying to make this movie. Now that it's here, what are you hoping audiences take away as they leave that theater?
Well, I suppose I'm hoping they're moved by the very things that moved me about it, which was the story of a young boy from a very poor background in Central Soviet Russia who discovers inside themselves this fiery hunger, need to dance, and nothing can push them off that track. And I suppose that moves me, and his need to absorb all art forms and to push himself into ballet and to push the form of ballet. Indeed, he felt competitive with the ballerinas. He felt that the women in ballet got all the best showy numbers, and I think he wanted to pull some back for the fella.
Before The White Crow, you swore, Rafe, that you would never star in a film you are directing again. So what changed your mind about this film?
To be honest, the finance was very, very difficult. And I was having a wonderful time inviting all these brilliant Russian actors to be part of it, who are some of them well-known.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. So let's get started. Today we have some big breakup news out of Hollywood. Bradley Cooper and Irina Shayk are on the rocks. According to People magazine, they're calling it quits after 4 years of dating. Now, People reports they decided to end their relationship on good terms and are working out shared custody of their daughter. No word on what caused the split, but we've been reporting on rumors all week that the relationship was on the rocks. Why do I sound so excited about this? I don't know.
I looked at you as you were reading like,
because this is so riveting. This all comes amid rumors that Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper could have a romance brewing. Remember this performance at the Oscars. Oh, and we don't have the performance, and no one can deny, you remember it though, no one can deny their on-screen chemistry in A Star is Born, but do they have chemistry in real life? Apparently, that's what a lot of people online are hoping, some even speculating, and this is a total rumor, she could have his baby within the year.
Oh, get out of here.
Come on.
Well, she could have his baby within, I mean, that is possible.
Biologically.
She is not.
Yes.
She is not impregnated by Bradley Cooper. Nobody probably want to. He's an actor. It was an act. Do I think, however, that she liked him? Yes, I do. She called off an engagement months ago, and she was very cozy with him at the Oscars. So, all I'm going to say is, I've been calling this for ages, this situation for months, and I am not surprised that finally his missus was like, you know what, see you later, love, because enough shaming is enough.
All right, I have a question for both of you. You guys are both in entertainment, obviously both have spouses. How would you feel if your beau, Anthony, is up there and he's hugged up the way him and Lady Gaga was? And then on the other hand, how would Jordan feel if that was you? So
see, I wouldn't have an issue with my husband doing his job. Like for the performance, that's fine. What I took or would have taken issue with is during the Golden Globes when she won, her fiance at the time got up and like hugged her or whatever. Bradley got up and helped her up the stairs. If my man,
it would be a long limo ride home.
If my man jumped, and I mean, he was being a gentleman, but at the same time, that was like, that's something that's reserved for your man. Now, shame on her man for not doing it, which is probably the reason why they're not together, but that's what I would have been affected by. What about you, Jeff?
Jordan wouldn't like it at all.
Yeah, I could
for
see
sure.
that.
And they're just people. People think like actors are some special entity. There was conversations had in their homes about like, what's up with that? There was some side eyes, going to bed without saying goodnight, all that. You know
Well,
what
they
I
were
mean?
just like, you know what I wasn't, and I don't know if we have the picture of them sitting on the piano, if we could pull that up really quickly, but like, he's got his arm around her and then she's touching his hand. I feel like just that little move, that's reserved for like your boo. Like that's not like, oh, this is helping the performance. No one's like, well, he wasn't touching her hand, so I didn't believe it. Like that's a little extra. Like that, you would never do that with anybody that wasn't your wife.
See,
ever.
like, if you're on the movie set and it's part of the movie, then I fully get it. I really do. But even just like the performance when they've like already won the award, they're just up there singing. There's no need for them to be that cozy. There's no need.
Well, now we're on Lady Cooper watch. I said it. Well, we've known Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are on the rocks. They filed for divorce 3 years ago, and it's still not finalized. Now the Sun reports that Brad has given Angelina an ultimatum. Sign the papers, or his legal team will turn up the heat. Reports say Brad is worried the divorce could drag on for years. And at this point, the divorce has dragged on longer than the marriage.
That's interesting. But I mean, what does it say about our system, guys, that you can kind of use the legal system to drag things out? I mean, it seems like he wants to move on, but it's like paperwork is preventing him from doing that. I mean, it would be hard for you to disconnect and start to look for a new partner if every 6 months you get some kind of legal document showing up saying you got to go back down for a hearing or call your lawyer and fax something. If people still fax things. You know, I don't know.
Who wants to deal with that, too?
Right.
And the
Just
other side,
let
like,
it
trying
go.
to get
It's
everything
over.
out. Something's
Honestly,
going on.
I think that's the point, because coming from someone who's been through a divorce, if two people really want to divorce, they are going to make that their priority. I can tell you when my ex-husband and I went through our divorce, and it was very swift. Like, we knew what we wanted, probably because we knew for a while that this was coming, but I had a friend who was dating someone in the same situation, and he was still married but getting divorced, and I was like, oh, it's fine, like it happens. But when I filed for divorce, everything went through with the divorce was final, and he was still like, well, I might have to file. I'm like, if you want to get divorced, you can get divorced.
Somebody does not want to in that couple.
Exactly. Well, there are certain topics you might not want to discuss with your family, but for Jada Pinkett Smith, almost nothing is off limits. On her show, Red Table Talk, which I love, she sits down with her mother and 18-year-old daughter, Willow Smith, and they talk about a wide range of topics. Jada says in an upcoming episode, they'll talk about polyamory, which was Willow's idea, aka having multiple lovers. Jada tells Jimmy Kimmel that doesn't make her uncomfortable, but when they talked about pornography, that was too much. Watch.
I learned a little bit too much about my mother and surely about my daughter. I was like, for the first time, I never thought that I personally would have a TMI moment at the Red Table. And
Because
that
you want
was
to
the
know
show.
everything. You're one of those kind of people.
Very inquisitive like that.
Me too. I don't. There's never a moment where I feel like I've been told too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
Except for that show.
Well, DBL Nation, we want to know what topics are off limits with family.
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, I think I would find that topic really difficult, to be honest. And also, so when I was with the partner for a really long time and we were breaking up, and it was really bizarre. Like, some of my family just found it so hard to take that it was almost like they couldn't discuss it. And I got bombarded with, are you doing the right thing? Like, all the time. So it's really weird. I think when it's something that they're emotionally invested in, maybe. I don't know.
I think, I was just going to say, I think that in that case, they're just like, I know Steph with this person. I don't know Steph without him, and that makes me uncomfortable because I have to relearn who you are. So just stay together so it's easier for me. I think it's kind of selfish.
I would hope for me and my family, you know, my kids growing up, there is nothing that we can't talk about. I want to talk about everything. I want them to feel comfortable telling me anything. But I don't like when parents get too close to their kids, not saying that that's the case with Jada Pinkett Smith, but you ever see those moms with their daughters or the dads with their sons, and they think they're part of the group? They're like best friends more than like father figures or mother figures. That's where it gets a little weird for me.
So my mom. Oh, yeah.
Was that a good thing or a bad thing, you think, ultimately?
When I was younger, it was a bad thing. Now when I'm older, I really like it. But when I was younger, I was a bit like, Mom, time to leave.
Your mom's like, where are we going?
My mum was like, yeah, well, I remember when I was younger and I wanted to have like a party for New Year's Eve, and my mum and dad were like, okay, they bought all the alcohol, they did everything, but then they stayed there, and I was like, no, leave now, leave.
Your parents bought the alcohol?
Yeah. In England,
that was
liberal.
We had to wait outside 7-Eleven and ask people.
I still remember my fake ID. Or what did I say?
What?
I don't know. Okay.
What?
Planning a wedding wedding can be stressful, from making the guest list, dealing with in-laws, and finding a venue. One bride has the ultimate clapback, and people are praising her reaction. It's all detailed in a viral Reddit post. The bride says her mother-in-law demanded she invite 80 extra people to the wedding when there were only about 50 people invited initially. That's when the bride canceled the wedding and got married in a national park with their two best friends. I can understand this completely. I had a very, very large wedding the first time, and everybody weighed in with their 2 cents and what would make them happy. When I got married the second time, I asked nobody for any of their opinions and made it very clear that I didn't want their opinions because it wasn't about them, because I think it also sets a tone for the marriage. How much outside input are you going to allow into your relationship? And a lot of that comes with a lot of turmoil. So I'm going to accept accountability for how I handled my wedding, and I'm going to accept accountability for the day-to-day of how I handle my marriage.
That's really cool. I remember when my sister got married, everyone was expecting invites, and you know, even my mum and dad were like, you have to invite so and so and so and so, and people that my sister didn't even know. So that was really hard for her, and they didn't want to let down their friends. But my sister was like, hey, it's my day. My dad was like, hey, I'm paying.
Ooh.
Well, that's the difference.
That was hard.
That is the difference.
And you and your mom were drinking in the corner.
And I was just like, cheers.
Well, I think the views on marriage, especially weddings, have shifted. I think weddings back in the day used to be, you're presenting this couple to the city. Like, you know, Jeff and Jordan are now a married couple around town, so everybody would come. But now I think it's more just like, this is a moment between me and my husband and our best friends and the people that love us. Sometimes people get married by a best friend, you know, that's been ordained, and you do it in the force because it should be just be you and the people you love and, you know, whatever God you pray to.
Yeah, man, I feel like it's getting too businessy for me. You know what I mean? But do what you want to do. But for me, courthouse, baby.
I love it.
We need to give a big DBL shout out to 4 Oklahoma teens. The boys range from ages 14 to 17 years old. They saved their 90-year-old neighbor when her house caught on fire. The teens broke the door down to get inside, finding her in a room filled with smoke. Fortunately, everyone got out safely. This photo is from earlier in the week when the woman was able to meet up with the boys to thank them. She says one word is always on the tip of her tongue: grateful.
Good for these boys. You know what I mean? I love stories like this. This happens every day. We tend to focus on the negative. We have to give the news here. But this happens every day, and I'm glad we shine a little light on these boys.
Yeah, running into a smoke-filled house, I mean...
Hero.
I mean, when we did our camping thing, you could sit in front of the fire for 2 seconds before you're like, I can't breathe. So running into a place that's filled with smoke, I mean, it's really serious. So that took a lot of courage.
This is why I love our show, because we started out with talking about 4 teens who attacked 2 people, and then we end with 4 teens who have saved someone's life. And so it shows you both sides, and obviously we'll focus on the good. Well, coming up on DBL, our own Stephanie Jonesy is showing you how to make the most of summer flea markets this season. And Alec Baldwin says he's overplaying Donald Trump on TV, so who will fill his shoes? That's next.
I'm messing with Steph. I'm looking forward to her shoot that's about to air. Steph, can you tell us what we're about to see?
Okay. Sounds good.
Because what I said to her was it looked like she was stealing furniture that was going into a furniture store.
I'm yet to see the final
It looked like you were in a parking lot going through things without supervision. It looked like a random woman.
I think it was.
Case in the joint.
I think I was.
What's up? Now, are you a flea market person? Because I know people that swear by flea markets.
No.
No?
I mean, no.
What about farmer's market? I can see you as a farmer's.
I don't mind a bit of fresh fruit and vegetables, but yeah.
Good for the vintage?
No, I don't. The flea market thing is, like, I don't like all this haggling, and, like, it's really, like, you know, it makes me feel really awkward. Like, I don't want to barter.
Yeah,
Jeff, that is Jeff in his element.
Dude, when we go overseas or something, like, and you go to those markets, $10. No. $2. Yeah, I love it. Jordan gets so embarrassed, and I'm like,
That's me. I get
but
embarrassed.
listen, if I get a good deal, I love it even more.
Yeah.
I'm not paying full price.
I
Don't be
feel
a
like
sucker.
I've never talked to a woman that's bought any clothing for full price. They always go, you like this? $14. It was originally $100.
Where's that at?
Just like, just deals.
I wish there was more haggling here in the States. I feel like that's like an out of the country thing.
Yeah, you don't really
Unless you go like to a
haggle.
flea market or
You used
something.
to be able
but-
to haggle with cars, but now with like TrueCar and everything, like you have the price on your phone. You just
and
go
they don't
like-
even want to haggle. They're just
Right,
like, this
they're
is the
just like,
price.
let's just get this done, yeah.
Yeah, but I love it. Like, that's part of traveling for me. I love it.
Well,
I remember
haggle.
we went to this Australian market when we were in, I don't know. It was funny. Jordan was like almost crying. She was so embarrassed.
Welcome back to DBL. It's Friday.
Yeah.
This weekend, you might get cozy on the couch and watch some TV, so we're breaking down the latest TV news.
Nice.
Alec Baldwin says he's done playing Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live. He's played the president since 2016. Baldwin told USA Today he wants to spend more time with his family. The show takes over his whole weekend, and he doesn't want to play Trump anymore. He wants executive producer Lorne Michaels to, quote, find somebody who wants to do it. That sounds pretty cut and dry.
I nominate Frank Caliendo, my buddy.
Oh.
He does a great Trump. I don't know. He should get a call.
Get him on there.
That's right.
He's well known enough to get on
Texting
there.
with him now. Let him know.
Do you think it's because of the amount of stick he gets for it, or because of Donald Trump, or do you think it's genuinely that he wants to be with his family? Because,
I would think it's a lot of.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think he gets a lot of flack, and I think he wants to be with his family. And I mean, the character, he did a great job, but it's like the same every single time. You know what I mean? It's like maybe he wants to move on to something else.
But Tina Fey had this issue when she was playing Sarah Palin. I think at a certain point, especially when you're so good at it, the two start to almost go into each other, like people can't discern the difference or something. So I can understand not wanting Trump to be his marquee role.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes. Okay. Moving on. Hold on to your HBO subscriptions. If you haven't already, you're going to want to binge Chernobyl. Fans and critics are calling the miniseries one of the best shows on TV. Chernobyl tells the true story of one of the world's worst nuclear disasters when a reactor exploded in 1986, causing mass amounts of radiation exposure, forcing a permanent evacuation of the town. Here's the trailer.
I'm pleased to report that the situation in Chernobyl is stable. In terms of radiation, I'm told it's the equivalent of a chest x-ray.
No, Chernobyl is on fire.
Wow. And now tourists are flocking to the abandoned site. Tourism has spiked since the show's debut. The last episode aired on Monday. I understand tourism. I don't know if that's where I'm going.
I think that you know that it's not where you're going, Erica. That's not a good idea. They said that they closed it. You saw the firefighters there. They said that their gear is still super radioactive since 1986. Like they still have to. That place is uninhabitable. It's crazy. I've watched every episode twice back to back. That's how much I love the show. I told Jeff, like, this is my Jeopardy for you. Like, I love this show. I told Jeff he should watch it. He's like, oh, it's a little boring. I'm like, people waiting around in toxic waste for an hour is boring. It's so great. You got to watch it.
I got to watch it. So we put it on one night, and I was super tired, and it was later, and Jordan shut off all the lights. If you shut off all the lights and I'm on the couch, I'm out. So the show's a little dark if you could see it. Yeah. And then I was just like, oh, it was like real quiet, and they're walking around, and I'm out, and then I wake up, and spoiler alert, some dude hangs himself, and I'm like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I feel like Jeff and I have got very similar tastes. We both like a lot of the same kind of humour in shows. So I think if Jeff's not feeling it, then it's probably not one for me.
I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it another try because Al loves it.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it wasn't that long ago. It's 1986. Like Michael Jordan was 2 years with the Bulls at that point. Like this isn't like 100 years ago.
I like the analogy.
That's how I do it. That's it. You guys are Chicagoans. I got you.
I like the analogy.
Oh man. Well, I was also 5.
There we go.
Yeah, okay.
No, I just do by Michael Jordan's years of the Bulls.
Okay. All right. I'm with it. I'm with it. Well, coming up on DBL, easy tips and tricks to make the most out of your local flea market this summer. Don't miss it when DBL comes back.
Hey DBL Nation, it's Lex, and I'm here with the DBL Digital team giving you guys more top trending stories during the breaks here at Daily Blast Live. If you haven't watched Chernobyl, you have to go watch it. It is insane. I haven't seen the final episode yet, but it is so wild. This place had to be completely evacuated, and people still have radiation poisoning. I don't know, the 40% increase, those people who are going to this radioactive area, that don't do that. I would not recommend doing that. I don't think it's good for you. Really, really crazy. So go and check it out. Make sure you comment in our comment section. And if you guys are going to travel there, or if you would travel there, no, it's a no for me. So news story trending right now for you guys. It's about the CEO of Walmart, and he's saying that he wants the minimum wage to be moved up for everyone. Now, Walmart is already above minimum wage, in addition to having some really awesome benefits for their employees, like health benefits and education benefits that we've reported on in the past. And right now, minimum wage federally is $7.25. So if your state does not have their own minimum wage, it is automatically $7.25. I think that's really, really low considering the cost of living, for sure. And it's nice that Walmart, to me, I think it's nice that Walmart is reaching out and saying that they want the minimum wage to be hired, even though they've already done their part by caring for their employees. So DBL Nation, write us in what you guys think about this story, and keep writing us in. We love hearing what you have to say. Bye.
Welcome back to DBL. Summer is a fantastic time to get out in the nice weather for garage sales and flea markets. So check out my tips for flea market success in this DBL Decked Out presented by Sunsetter Awnings. DBL Nation, I'm at the flea market, so we're going to go shopping. I've got my list and we are going to find some treasures. Always be sure to plan ahead. I recommend bringing a list of items that you're looking for and even have measurements of your space, especially if you're in the market for larger items. If you're trying to match decor, bring photos or fabric swatches and it's bound to help. I think that's gonna work. How much is the picture with the giraffes on it? 45. It's really important to create relationships. If you get to know the vendors, they might just give you a special deal. Is the price negotiable? Check each item before you buy and never be afraid to make an offer. If you see a scratch or a scuff, you might just get a discount. What about $40? Also, know your maximum price before you begin to bargain. If you hit that and the vendor won't budge, just walk away. Thank you. You'll never know when they might change their mind. 15.
Only for you.
For more ways to get the most out of summer, call Sunsetter Awnings at 1-800-507-3152. So now you guys know how to find all the best deals this summer. Happy shopping. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
About haggling. All right, you guys just saw Steph in a random parking lot. Where can we find that flea market?
I really don't know.
What abandoned parking lot can we do that next week? Where was it? I don't know. Just there. Thank you. Don't defend that, Kelly.
Oh, I was literally watching Al's face the entire time, trying really hard not to laugh.
It just looked like there wasn't a lot of organization to how the items were laid out.
I don't think there was. I think it was very organically spread.
Okay. What did you find there that you liked the most? Like, what would you honestly go back and be like, I get that?
I got an orange.
An orange?
I got a peach.
Okay.
Got some nice fruit.
Oh my God.
Guys,
what's going on over there?
she just went to a flea market and bought 2 pieces of fruit. And
Fruit?
Yeah.
I wasn't watching. You bought fruit at a flea market? That's probably not the best place to get produce.
She bought fruit in a parking lot. Whatever happens, you have to accept the consequences.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to feel sorry for you.
Yeah. It was an experience.
I gotta watch it next time.
It was an experience.
Wait, so all that furniture, you didn't buy anything?
No.
Just
Jeff.
what?
I feel like I never see Coco anymore. We miss you.
No, I'm very like, if anyone ever comes to my house, it's like the most minimal place ever. Everything's like glass, acrylic, white.
I walked into her house and I was like, this is what I want my apartment.
Really?
But I have 3 kids.
It's very
so
minimal.
it'll never
It's
happen.
very minimal. There's like hardly anything there, and everything's like.
I don't think anybody commits to a color like Coco does. Like, she's like, it's going to be pink.
I know.
And it's, like I said, you committed to a color.
Yeah.
It's I love it.
The hair all the way down.
You look great.
All right.
Thanks.
No, it was an experience for me. It was fun.
Yeah, and that's all life is about experiences. I mean, Jeff loves.
Oh, she did.
See, that is Jeff's
Yes.
jam. That
Yeah.
is Jeff's jam. Like,
I
Jeff
was like,
will
Jeff's gonna
go,
love it.
he will barter, he will haggle. Jeff doesn't care about being embarrassing. He'll
Embarrassing?
be like, it is embarrassing.
The
You're like
world's out
$1,
to
$2,
get
like,
you. You gotta get it. You know what I mean?
Tell him, Jeff.
Yeah. You're not gonna get one over on Big Jeff. You know what I mean? I know that sandwich doesn't cost $20.
It's just that the price is something, no?
You should go haggle over fruit like Steph did.
Next time you go and buy a pear, I'll come with you.
She bought a peach and an orange, and it's like, I'm good here.
Oh my God, look at
Oh, what a cutie.
I was hungry.
Welcome back to DBL. A South Carolina middle school teacher is going viral for his tribute to Beyonce. He promised a student he would learn to dance to the song Before I Let Go if the student aced an exam. She did, and he kept his promise. Watch. Talk about dedication. The teacher knew the 14-year-old student loved dancing and gave her an incentive she couldn't refuse. She choreographed the dance herself, and he really does it justice.
Wow.
I love this.
I was expecting that. That was like legit.
I think he's missing his calling as a choreographer.
No.
Wow,
that was really good.
That's great. I mean, I would have done that for my students, but it wouldn't have been viral. It would have been like, just stop, Mr. Jackson.
It would have been viral for other reasons.
There we
Al.
go. There we go.
That's kind of what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting that guy
really
to be
good.
He was awesome. He killed it. What a guy.
You know,
what a guy.
students must love him.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
we need more teachers like that show like incentive, have fun with their students. I'm sure there's thousands and thousands out there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But this is great. I love highlighting this as well.
All right.
She's got some moves too. Let's not give it all.
I think she said she wants to be a choreographer. So
she is loving it. That's a great way to end a Friday.
Oh yeah. Should we dance it out?
Yes.
No.
Come on, Big Jeff. Can we get some music? It's PMA, Positive Mental Attitude. Get yours. We'll see you on Monday, same time, same place. Win the weekend.
I don't know what that means.
guys. Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. It is Friday. Happy Friday. We're going to go to the desk and talk to Big Jeff about flea markets. Big Jeff.
Brandon Jeff Toriel.
Do you ever shop at the flea market?
I haven't.
Ever?
I've been, not here, I'm saying.
Oh.
Yes, I hear you.
When I lived in New
But you
York.
screwed up my thing.
I screwed it up.
No, whoever just called me. Could you hear me? Anyways, okay, here, you want to do something? This is what I'm doing. This is what Big Jeff does
Wait,
at
so
breaks.
we're not going to talk about the flea market?
Oh, we are? Okay.
We don't have to
This
if
is
you
what
don't
I'm
want
doing.
to.
So the Bulls put this thing out about Michael Jordan, like Scottie Pippen, they're like captioning this photo. So I've been
Yeah, what
thinking
are
of
you
a
gonna
caption
say?
to this. I don't know, but I'm trying to think of something really funny.
Oh.
Anyways, now we can go back to flea market.
So you don't shop at the flea market?
I do. I have been to flea markets. Not here in Denver, though.
Gotcha. I mean, the one in Denver is okay,
I used to get T-shirts for the one when I lived in the East Village.
Yeah.
I got this.
well, that's
Jeff,
good.
I got a T-shirt and I didn't know what it was. It just said Gwinnett High School, and it was just like whatever their mascot was, and it's like a $3 T-shirt. People stopped me. You went there. I don't know what.
Yeah.
It was like the most popular high school in Atlanta. I was like, I don't know where this is from. It's just a $3 T-shirt. But
You want to know something else, Random? I cut my thumb, and when I look down, I'm always like, I think I got something on there.
And can I tell you something else? From 1 to 10, how much does it bother you?
Dude, but
Like
you
a
know
lot
how
of
much
stuff.
you hit the back of your thumb?
It's a lot.
Every time you tie
I
your
know.
shoes, it scrapes off. You put something in your pocket, it scrapes off.
Or like tying your.
And I'm like brushing my teeth. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, oh man, you know?
Well, guys,
It's annoying. It's
to
very
enjoy your
annoying.
garden in shady style,
Anyways.
call Sunsetter Awnings at 1-800-507-3152. Goodbye.
That was 4 random stories.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's
Friday?
okay.
I thought Brandon was the official Friday guy.
Well, that went very well. June 7th, we're live, and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. I'm here with Brandon, Jeff, Al. I am Tori. Sam is off today. Let's get it started. We actually have a hard story to start with, a horrific one, actually, out of London, where a lesbian couple was viciously beaten on a bus. And a warning to our viewers, the picture you're about to see is graphic, and it may be disturbing. A young woman named Melania was with her girlfriend, Chris, when she says they were approached by a group of young men. The guys demanded they kiss and began making lewd comments. Now, the confrontation turned violent, leaving the two women bloody. Melania posted this picture herself and her story to Facebook, hoping to shed light on how common violence has become. And actually, we're just getting that, and we are live. 4 teenagers have been arrested in connection to the attack, according to CNN. And I don't want this to be just London. I know it was on top of a double-decker bus, which is like London, but this has happening in Denver. Our senior producer was beaten for being queer in Denver. We've seen 3 transgendered African Americans be killed in Dallas in the last year. So let's open this up to more of a global conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm glad they captured those boys. They were very diligent in getting those boys. But I can't believe this goes on. I don't understand the hate. When I say we're making strides in our community, for the gay community, for the prejudice community, I feel like we're moving forward as a country. And then you hear stories like this, and it's like, it saddens me. It makes me sad.
Do you think we're taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back? Does it feel like that?
You know, Jeff,
yes.
I can believe that. I can believe that it's happened because you're talking about the kids. They're 15 to 18 years old. I've been open. I'm just thinking about my mindset at 15 to 18-year-old when it came to my ignorance to people in the LGBT community. So I would never take it as far as putting my hands on someone. It'll be jokes here, a smirk or something like this. But this is something, like you said, it's taking us back. And I feel like us straight men who are confident in ourselves need to be that ally, need to be that voice to tell our young men, whomever, like, hey, these people, you're going to work with these people one day. One of these people are going to save your life one day. One of these people are going to fight in the army for your freedom one day. So you need to check yourself when it comes to this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
And I honestly think that when confronted with issues like this, I feel like it just holds a mirror up. And whatever those 4 boys saw that they felt like they needed to attack, that's not about that couple. That's about them. There's something going on inside of them that is broken. There's something wrong with those boys, and they need to really address that, and they need to figure out what that is. And I think we all know that once you confront, once you're really happy with yourself, that's why you can't conceive of such a thing. That's why
you're okay with yourself.
That's why you can't understand. It's because you have love for everybody, and you understand there's value and there's something special about everybody. But those boys see homosexuality as something to be feared, and I think they need to confront what that is. And hopefully they'll have a lot of jail time to think about it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how much jail time they get, actually. Actually, in related news, a Goldman Sachs executive is suing because he was fired for being too gay. The former vice president says he was kept off a client call because, quote, he sounded too gay on the phone. He also claims a supervisor asked him, quote, what's wrong with you? Do you act this way because you're gay? Goldman Sachs officials said the lawsuit was without merit. Just to give the other side, Goldman Sachs is well known in the investment world as being a very progressive place to work. They have very progressive LGBT policies in place. So it's not like Goldman Sachs to do this, but they're saying...
Let me pose a question, and I don't know what happened, but we talked about this earlier. What if he's mad about being fired or something happened, and he does happen to be gay? What happens there? And then he's kind of igniting this conversation.
That's why this is such a tough thing, because there are people, and like I'm an African American male. If I got fired from,
no, I'm just kidding.
I don't want to. I'll slow down. You know, if there could be like if somebody didn't know the inner workings or the dynamics. Let's say I was late for work 5 days in a row, which I've done. You know, and they let me go. If I then say I was let go because I was black, somebody that didn't know DBL, I can't imagine there are any such people, but if somebody didn't know the show and they're just reading this from 100 miles away, they might be like, see, you see what they did? So you really don't know unless you're in the inner workings. I hope that he was fired for being bad at his job, not because he was gay.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. What was his numbers? Because what would you say earlier? When it comes to business, the only color that they see is what?
Green.
Green.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I feel as though, and I'm not trying to back Goldman Sachs or anything, but
we're not backing anybody.
They are progressive when it comes to this. I mean, they cover people's sexual reassignment surgery for their employees. They also have 5% of their partners have been identified as LGBTQ.
But remember that in this case, when it goes to the court case, just to get it in your head, the prosecutor has the burden of the proof to say, hey, there's evidence that you discriminated against me, particularly because I was gay. That's in their court. So they have that responsibility.
Right. And I'm not saying it might have happened too.
Exactly.
I'm just posing a question.
Yeah. And just that thing where he's saying like, oh, they say I sounded too gay. It could have been a client that could be a really conservative client, and they wanted to lock that money down, and they could have been like, hey, we're going to go with Jeff instead of you, Al, because maybe Jeff has...
Know that you can't say to someone, you sound too gay, or you're too gay. That is completely
He could have taken it like that. Who knows? You know, I'm just throwing out hypotheticals, playing both sides. It's going to be something we're going to have to sit and wait and hear. But since this is the month, this is Pride Month, this is what's blowing up, and this is what's coming to the light. This stuff actually happens.
And that's why Pride parades actually matter.
Exactly.
And on Monday, we actually have a very special guest joining us. This is going to be so exciting. Nat Worth. He was the valedictorian of his high school in Wisconsin this year. But get this, his graduation speech was canceled because he wrote about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school. You don't want to miss this very powerful story that's coming up on Monday. So we're going to have an amazing time and hear from Nat there. We're going to make a hard turn to buzzy Beyonce. Fans were up in arms. It was over this moment at Wednesday night's NBA Finals game. Thanks for the laugh, one person. A woman named Nicole Curran, who happens to be the Warriors owner's wife, was leaning over Beyonce to speak to Jay-Z. Fans noticed Beyonce giving her the side eye, and that was all that was needed to pounce on Curran. Twitter erupted with comments like this Becky with the good hair about to get her wig split. Curran defended her action, saying, I was just trying to buy Beyonce and Jay-Z drinks. Now she says she's even received...
I think they're good.
I think they're fine.
Jay-Z just made the billionaire list.
They can get their own drinks. She says she's even received death threats from the Beehive members, and I know she's also shut down her accounts as of recently. Now Beyonce's publicist is asking fans to chill, saying, quote, it'll bring no joy to the person you love so much if you spew hate in her name. So as I said, is the Beehive full of stingers or honey?
I think the Beehive's doing a little bit too much on this one. Like, I mean, come on now. And I don't want to hear from the publicist. I want to hear from Beyonce.
You think it's that bad that we need to hear
not
from
Tina
Queen
knows, not none of the knows, not Joe's knows. I want to hear from Beyonce herself to tell her fans to back off, because she did throw the elbow. She did throw the shoulder in the actual video. We didn't see the video, we see the pictures.
Some people
but
say
she's
she was
throwing shoulder
adjusting.
to it.
Some people say she was just adjusting.
It's
but the body
courtside.
language does look
You're
uncomfortable.
asking someone, I am the owner's wife. I am trying to be gracious and offer you all a drink courtside. I have to lean over.
But Brandon,
you.
she went on and on, and I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying she kind of, you could tell Beyonce was like, all right, enough.
That's fine, but it doesn't warrant a death threat.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No matter what side you're on.
Jumped.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is crazy. Yeah. Social media has gotten so crazy that I feel like, I really do, I feel like fans, like crazy fans, feel like if they protect Beyonce, Beyonce's gonna be like, hey, do you want to come over for dinner or something? Like, I think they think they're friends with these people.
Like they're in the court with them. Almost.
Yeah, and that's why Beyonce needs to step up and say something like, listen, I appreciate it. I love you guys. I appreciate the support. You need to back off a little bit.
So you think Beyonce should put something down?
Yeah, I think so.
Once it gets to death threats, don't you agree she should come out?
Yeah, I mean, that's just taking it a step too far. And like I've always said, Jeff, I agree with you. There has to be some kind of boundaries on social media. And I know people say that's a slippery slope. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think most normal adults that use like any other tool, I'm not worried about anything. I don't have to go back and delete tweets. I don't threaten people's lives on Instagram. So if you're doing that, I think that you should lose your privilege. No different than if you did that in this building, you would lose your ID badge.
Let's talk about that in the break because that's a really good discussion. Well, another moment from the NBA Finals is drawing a ton of attention right now. NBA officials are banning this man, who is a part owner of the Warriors team, after he shoved a player courtside during the game. Venture capitalist Mark Stevens was also accused of, quote, directing obscene language at the Raptors point guard during the exchange. Now, after the game, the Raptors player Kyle Lowry said, quote, he had no reason to touch me. He had no reason to reach over 2 seats and then say some vulgar language to me. Well, the NBA agreed, slapping a $500,000 fine on him and banning him from attending games for an entire year, including the series that's still going. Stevens has since apologized, saying it was just a lapse in judgment. I saw this live, and it's rare for me to be watching, but I saw Kyle Lowry, as it happened, being like, this guy, pointing the refs, he touched me, and they didn't do anything. And I thought, why aren't they ejecting that guy, or at least
Well, they did later.
Play?
They walked him out later. I think they had to look at the videotape.
Yes.
Because I looked at it 3 times because I didn't see who pushed him. And the reason I didn't see him is because it wasn't like he landed on him and he was kind of like, hey, get off of me.
Right.
He reached across somebody else and pushed him. And so it was such a strange, and then you find out, not only, I thought he had a press pass on, like he was somebody's buddy, they got great seats. He's an owner of the opposing team. I mean, this is like,
shocking,
look, when the ball players went in the stands with the Malice in the Palace, there were harsh implications for that. This is no different than that. They are touching the players. There has to be some serious penalties.
Take a look at what LeBron James said really quick. This is on his Instagram. He's the one who actually tweeted it out. And I'm just going to summarize it at the very end. He says, we don't have time to let it manifest into thinking I couldn't watch and be quiet on this. Protect the players. Hashtags privilege ain't welcome here.
Yeah.
So good on LeBron for pointing it out.
Yeah, and I think the NBA needs to step up and do something as well. They need to have some boundaries here. They ban that guy for 1 year. Should it be a lifetime ban? That's something the NBA has to come up with. I don't mean to bring Drake into this whole thing, but he shouldn't be touching people either. Even though he's not.
I agree with you when you said that.
There needs to be a line here for all players, whether you're on their side or not on their side. There needs to be a line drawn in the sand by the NBA on this issue.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're lax. They've been lax. Yeah, they're saying, oh, we'll ban somebody because they're using some sort of words. But I remember, and I think it happened here, Russell Westbrook was on the sideline. He's about to take the ball out, and some little kid, 12-year-old sitting courtside, tries to slap the ball out of his hands. Yeah. If Russell Westbrook turned around and did something, because maybe the kid slapped his hand, something would have happened to him. Kyle Lowry, if he would have punched that guy right there in his face,
he has to control himself.
To me, I'm like, you should have punched him right there in the face.
Well, he's in game zone too. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So NBA needs to come in, but $500K to a billionaire is nothing. Yeah, that guy don't care.
Let's get some more.
Who ended up winning that game?
The Raptors. DBL is live. We'll bring you breaking news. As soon as it happens, and coming up, Alec Baldwin gets blunt about playing the president, why the actor's day as the commander-in-chief may be numbered. Then it's all over for Bradley Cooper and Arena Shakes. Say it ain't so. Look at another woman be in the mix. And you, the viewer, are the 5th host. Now that Julia Roberts and Patricia Arquette have spoken out against sex scenes in movies, the debate is heating up. Are sex scenes even necessary? Your comments are next. So I always bring up, and maybe I'm super old, and I wonder if, hey, Kelly, can you come here for a second? Do you know, come here.
Dre, what's up with that
When
ice
I
cream
think,
It's still there.
So there's behind all this, there's an ice cream truck, and everyone's very excited.
Y'all, that was the best ice cream I've ever had.
Do you know the story of Monica Seles?
I think it's on my.
See, that's what I think the millennials don't know.
Oh, that she got stabbed?
Yeah, so they don't know the story. So if you guys don't know, Monica Seles is a very famous. Do you know who she is? Very famous tennis player. She was sitting down, and a person in the crowd.
500 years old.
I was just checking out your T-shirt. Did you see them get swept?
Came over and stabbed her in the back.
What?
Millennials don't know Monica Seles.
Killed her?
No. But she had to get her whole
stalker. The
was
guy
that
been stalking
yesterday?
her for years. I'm
That's
sure
why I didn't
DBL
watch.
Nation, you guys remember Monica Seles. She was around when like Steffi Graf.
Correct.
I've never heard this story.
So that's why
on
people say
Monday.
it's not cool to touch the players because
It's
she was
not.
literally stabbed during play.
That's
She went in for a
insane.
break
Remember when
and they
Monica Seles
stabbed
got
her
stabbed?
back.
Yeah. And she came back, but she was never
Never
really
the same. And
That's
that guy was
crazy.
obsessed with her. They knew about him. He was flagged, and he got right
And
to
he
her.
still got right to
So
her.
when you say like Drake and stuff, it's like it's not funny
It's not
in a
funny.
way,
It's
right?
Well, you're not
really
gonna be able
not
to
a
stop
joke.
somebody like that. But
No.
like
They should.
with Drake, like they can't allow people on the court.
Yeah.
They can't allow. This guy maybe should have got a lifetime ban. I think because he's part owner, they maybe were a little lax.
Do you
on
think
him.
LeBron was asking for that when he's like privilege isn't welcome
Yes,
here?
they should have because then
Crazy.
they're setting a
Because
line in the
that was
sand.
assault.
If somebody gets up, if somebody
Right?
grabs somebody, they know they're never coming back.
Yeah.
They're never coming
That's
back.
the rule, and they don't
Yeah.
do it.
You have to make a crazy example out of somebody.
Yeah.
Just like those four monsters on that bus that attacked
Yeah.
two women.
Right, yeah.
You need to make a crazy
So that you don't even
example.
instantly, even if you're
And
drunk,
look,
reach out and touch
There
her.
was a time when I was playing in Canada, we went to and beat the Ottawa Red Blacks at their home. You know, you're talking trash. That's one thing with the fans and stuff. Someone throws a beer can at me, and I almost ran up into the crowd. My teammates had to grab me, and it's like, wait, you're not even in the game. What are you doing? What are you so emotionally involved
That
for?
receiver got a beer right in his face this year. Remember that?
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. A social media post about sex scenes in movies and TV shows has sparked an online debate. Recently, Patricia Arquette and Julia Roberts discussed the awkwardness of sex scenes. Well, now a Reddit poll reveals that several viewers share the same sentiment. Some agree and say they're not necessary, while others say sultry scenes help develop characters and can actually make the movie. Sorry for that. I made a weird face. So DBL Nation, should movies and TV shows include sex scenes?
The word sultry really gets to you.
It's very much. It's hard to say sultry without doing that face.
Sultry.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Now say it.
Sultry.
Yeah.
All right. For whoever else is still watching, Liza on Facebook says, why not? Movies are for grown folks. Liza, I agree with you. If you don't like it, you have the discretion to turn it off. But I do think there are some sex scenes that are there because the characters, their story arc has been building to that moment. So I think you gotta maybe not show it, but at least show something. Come on. We've been sitting around an hour and 20 minutes.
A little something. N13 from Twitter says, I'm not sex-phobic, but I don't like long, explicit sex scenes. It's like, can I watch the actual movie already? Well, N13, long, explicit sex scenes are called pornographic movies. I don't think they really happen that long in actual
You watched the whole movie?
But I feel as though I just feel as though like you need to have some sort of sex scenes, especially when you're trying to show some sort of like interaction between two characters or where something is going. It is necessary, yes.
All right, Amanda from Facebook says, well, as long as it's rated correctly, I don't see why not. There you go, Amanda. So then you know exactly what you're watching. But there's a reason why there's a saying, sex sells. If you know whatever, if one guy takes a shirt off, if some girl's doing whatever, you might go watch the movie. You know what I mean?
That's it.
You do a little this, you little like you were making a pizza. Max from Twitter says, I swear my parents always walk in whenever there is a sex scene in a movie or TV show, and that happens so often. And you're like, click, I'm just getting comfortable. Hey, hon, what's going on? No! I will say that some scenes, sex scenes, are super necessary to the plot. And I'm going to mention like Ghost with the pottery scene, remember? And then like Brokeback Mountain. Like you needed to see that to conclude a part of the plot. So I think sex scenes are fine. Why are you laughing?
I liked when he squeezed the pot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I think it was more just like rubbing. They weren't
it.
squeezing it.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe. I'm not a potter.
You were getting very into the scene. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That might be
Sultry. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. All right.
Things got weird.
Yes, this is Friday for sure. Debbie from Facebook says, I like it when some things are left to the imagination. Debbie, that's honestly what I always liked about old school 70s and 80s R&B is they never like, now they just say it in hip hop, they say exactly what they're doing. But I kind of like just talking about being between the sheets. Like, you get it, but they're not saying it. There's something kind of sexy about that. So I agree with her.
Nice. I think we're done here.
Okay, does anyone else want to say sultry, or are we good?
You want to give it
Brandon?
Go ahead, Brandon.
We're done.
Go ahead.
Oh, sultry.
I feel that was good. All right, for the one person watching, coming up on DBL, Brad Pitt has had enough. We'll tell you why he's getting tough in his divorce proceedings against Angelina Jolie. But first, a devoted teacher gets the gift of life when she least expected it. Miracles really do happen when we come back.
Rafe Fiennes, welcome to Daily Blast Live. So happy to have you on. I watched your film, The White Crow, last night.
You.
Outstanding. Well done. You recently set the internet on fire when you revealed how Voldemort's wand works. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and even though the last movie came out 8 years ago, people are still fascinated with your character. And did I hear you originally turn down the role? Why?
I didn't say no. I just was on the fence about it for some time. I think I was trying to sort of say I don't think it's for me until my sister Martha, who has 3 children, and said to me, what are you thinking? They're asking you to play Voldemort? You're mad. You must play this part.
Thank goodness nobody could play Voldemort but you. Let's move on to your film, The White Crow. It is a beautiful movie about a complicated life. I read that you've spent the past 20 years trying to make this movie. Now that it's here, what are you hoping audiences take away as they leave that theater?
Well, I suppose I'm hoping they're moved by the very things that moved me about it, which was the story of a young boy from a very poor background in Central Soviet Russia who discovers inside themselves this fiery hunger need to dance, and nothing can push them off that track. And I suppose that moves me, and his need to absorb all art forms and push himself into ballet and to push the form of ballet. Indeed, he felt competitive with the ballerinas. He felt that the women in ballet got all the best showy numbers, and I think he wanted to pull some back for the fella.
Before The White Crow, you swore, Rafe, that you would never star in a film you are directing again. So what changed your mind about this film?
To be honest, the finance was very, very difficult. And I was having a wonderful time inviting all these brilliant Russian actors to be part of it, who are some of them well.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Hard Threads is all about unexpected miracles. Watch how faith helped a woman survive the toughest battle of her life. These women are connected through school, faith, and kidneys. After doctors diagnosed Nikisha with stage 5 kidney disease, she spent 3 nights every week after school on dialysis. She never took a sick day, determined to push ahead for her students and family, despite how long it could take to get a match for a new kidney.
They explained to me it'd take 4 to 5 years to get a kidney donor.
Nikisha tried asking friends and family for help, but none were matches. But when Tiffany, a school social worker, learned of Nikisha's struggle, she felt a calling in her heart to help her.
It's like in my heart I knew that God was just saying, you've got to step up. And the question isn't why, it's why not.
Doctors tested Tiffany's kidneys for 6 months before she knew for sure.
She ran into my room, then she stood outside my door, and she had this sign said, Jesus chose me for you. And I screamed, I cried.
They both went into surgery this spring and made it through successfully, officially intertwining their lives forever.
I am truly blessed. Words will never be able, I guess, to describe how I truly feel, and I truly love you for that. Thank you.
What a beautiful heart there. It's coming up on DBL. Bradley Cooper is single again after ending it with Irina Shayk. But will he be on the market for long? And it's the show everyone is watching, but are you? We'll tell you why Chernobyl is wowing audiences and critics alike.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Live. Hey, DBL Nation, and welcome to The Breaks, where, we bring y'all the latest trending stories. Now, this is coming out of CNN.com. DC Universe was actually DC's premier streaming service that came out last year in October, and they had been building this up since 2017, and this service actually has a lot of select content on it by DC, so think animated movies, animated shows, things like that, as well as movies, live action movies, animated movies, comics. It's supposed to be an all-around hub for DC content. Well, unfortunately, the first episode of the show Swamp Thing streamed last week, and right after it was canceled. Now, this comes after an acquisition. AT&T acquired part of Warner Brothers and the Warner Brothers Entertainment section specifically, and wow, I guess they were not happy with the numbers. Admittedly, nothing on the article really goes into detail on why, but to be honest, AT&T has been really debating on whether or not DC Universe is a valuable thing to keep, because it's so niche and it's so tight, and they don't have some of the content that lots of viewers can enjoy, things like The Flash, on the CW, those kind of shows, Arrow, those shows that a lot of viewers that don't even know DC content can get into. They don't have the streaming rights for that because those things are on Netflix, they're on Hulu, so they're not available on their streaming platform. And the other critical piece that they do not have is the DC Universe movies. So the DC Extended Universe is what the movie universe is called. Think Justice League. It actually all started with Man of Steel, and then Wonder Woman, Justice League, I'm not listing them in order, Suicide Squad, and Aquaman. So think those movies, they're not available on the streaming service. Meanwhile, Disney Plus hasn't even come out yet, and it's promising things like Avengers Endgame and Captain Marvel on day of release. So this is a big problem with the DC Universe streaming platform. It needs to really add that content that most people are watching. Like I said, The Flash, Gotham, Arrow, those shows that a lot of people are actually tuning into on network television, they can't stream, so that's really taking away. And another big part that was taking away from the streaming service is the comic section. Now, they recently fixed this up a little bit, but when it debuted, they were actually pulling comics to add new ones. So they literally added a library, I want to say, of about 2,200, and when a new show or movie debuted, they would pull about 5 or 6 of those issues to replace them with something else, and it was just this constant revolving cycle of cycling content through, and it really was a bad move, because you just want to add on. You want to pancake those things and add a full comic library. Them taking away is really taking away from the service. But DBL Nation, let us know, have you tried out DC Universe? I have, and I've got a review coming shortly. So DBL Nation, write us in and let us know. We'll see you next break.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments, Albert.
Yeah, Tori, okay. Vote to Count on YouTube says that attack was outrageous. Put them in prison for 15 years. I'm fine with that. Bob Tavares, what's up, Bob? On Facebook says, that's why I don't ride subways in New York. Well, you're going to have trouble traveling in New York, Bob, but okay. John Ojeda, watching us on KHO in Houston, H-Town.
Yeah.
That's a shame. People, keep your hands to yourself. Couldn't agree more. XOOX on YouTube says, why certain people don't understand things. I should have read this first. Why, when certain people don't understand things or see things that are different, they instantly turn to violence? I don't know why they pick up a book and learn, or just walk away, or talk to them. They're probably a human being. You're going to love them.
And I think you say that by traveling, right? That's how you meet them.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And I would suggest, if you don't like a particular group of people, talk to them.
Travel
It sounds
there.
like the opposite of what you want to do, but talk to them.
Now, what if you
I mean?
meet Tori and you just instantly dislike her? Is that okay?
That's all right. That's
I'm
cool.
okay
then
with
you're
that.
with us.
I'm okay with that.
And
Why
then
you
you're
dress
with the
like
group.
Wilma Flintstone.
If you're leaving us right now, you can watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Bam, bam. Here's what coming up next on DBL.
Bradley Cooper and Irina Shayk are over, done, kaput. But will another leading lady pick up the pieces of Bradley's broken heart? Then, here comes the drama when a bride cancels her special day to spite her mother-in-law. What led to her drastic measures? And is Alec Baldwin ready to dump Trump? The reason the actor says it's over. Coming up on DBL.
Hey DBL Nation, I know, not the face you were expecting, right? Well, it's the face that I want though. It's kind of freaking cool, okay? Welcome back to another episode of Beauty Blast, guys. I'm Rafe for this lay. Today we're talking about LED masks. Dr. Dennis Gross actually has been hooking us up, and I really want to talk to you guys about this product because it is life-changing. Now, if you don't know about LED light therapy, today's your day, guys. These are amazing products that will help to make sure that you're actually smoothing, brightening, and actually resurfacing your skin at times too. Now, LED light therapy can be used with red, blue, green lights, but with this light mask you have the option of red, blue, which kind of looks a little bit more pink blue to me, and a mix of red and blue. The red is going to help with anti-aging. This is going to help to make sure that any wrinkles or texture in the skin is being smoothed out and being plumped up as well. Now the blue, which looks a little blue-pink to me, this guy is going to be helping with acne. If you suffer from acne, this is going to be the best for you. It's going to help to make sure that we're diminishing any bacteria and helping to make sure that you can prevent acne breakouts as well. Now the last one is a mixture. This is great for people who have adult acne or who maybe have suffered from acne scarring or who just have a little bit of everything going on. This is going to be the light that you want to be on. Now the best part about this, guys, the treatment is only for 3 minutes. It's auto shut off. You put it right over your face for about 3 minutes here and relax. It even comes with a little hair pull or a adjustment so that you can keep this on your head and kind of walk around and do whatever you need. Now personally, I like to lay back and enjoy this and you know, relax for my full 3 minutes. Make sure that I'm keeping my beauty time for me, guys. So guys, as you can tell, this mask is amazing. It's practically the future. You can have a whole light therapy just for you at home without seeing a professional, without leaving your house. Who doesn't want that? So
this is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. Let's get it started. Guys, we have some big breakup news out of Hollywood. Hold your tissues. Bradley Cooper and Irina Shayk are on the rocks. According to People magazine, they're calling it quits after 4 years of dating. And just in, CNN reports the couple has been on and off for a year. I know. People report they decided to end their relationship on good terms and are working out shared custody of their daughter. There's no word on what caused the split, but we've been reporting on rumors all week that relationship was on the rocks. And all this comes to mind 2 words, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. They could have a romance a-brewin'. Remember this performance at the Oscars. And no one can deny their on-screen chemistry in A Star Is Born, but do they have that chemistry in real life? Well, apparently that's what a lot of people online are hoping, some even speculating, this is a total rumor, she could have his baby within the year.
Yeah, this is, I mean, obviously.
Every one of you just went like this.
We could goof around about this, but like, if we take this seriously, like, I don't know, you guys are both married. Do you think that their relationship kind of crossed the line? Because obviously when you're acting, if you're in a love story, you have to act like you're in love. But it seemed like it was more, and this is from, I'm not like a really hardcore observer, and I picked that up.
The chemistry?
Something.
I think they have natural chemistry, and I think they were
Would you be mad if Brooks interacted like that with
Yeah.
Yeah? Jeff, you said Jordan would not be a fan.
It's a performance.
I know, but I got to be super honest. I still be like I felt bad for her at that performance. Irina sitting in the
That was the first time I noticed was at that performance. I was like, man.
They didn't kiss or anything.
No, but that look was like, let's have babies.
Looked in each other's eyes.
I know. Brandon, would you be cool if that was your girl?
Yeah,
if you were Lady Gaga's man?
She's working. I know she's working. I know what she's doing. Like, you have to have some sort of chemistry on set, and then when you're performing in front of everyone and you're still promoting that movie.
That's true. That's
then
true.
You have to have some sort of
Brandon, you remember that scene in Goodfellas when Sharon Stone and Robert De Niro were at that party?
Casino? You want to get that right?
Yes,
Okay.
it's the same movie. And that young waiter comes up and he says, you have a beautiful wife. You're a very lucky man. And he was like, I fired that kid the next day.
Yeah.
It's because it's saying that on paper isn't a problem, but it was a little disrespectful, even though I wouldn't have done that. But, like, you didn't pick that up at all?
No, well, in terms of that movie, yeah, that's disrespectful.
But in the Oscars, you didn't feel the performance.
But in the Oscars, I didn't think it was disrespectful.
Okay, John Venturini wrote in and says it's hardcore method acting, Al.
Yeah, all right.
Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens there. We've known Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are on the rocks. They filed for divorce 3 years ago, and it's still not finalized. Now the Sun reports that Brad has given Angelina an ultimatum. Sign the papers or his legal team will turn up the heat. Reports say Brad is worried the divorce could drag on for years. I had a family member who had one of these divorces that goes on, and it becomes endless, and the kids are suffering, and it's awful, and the money's going away, and the lawyers are getting it all. So these are not, it's a lose-lose for everybody on both sides. It's horrible.
Yeah, they have a ton of kids, too, that they have to worry about. I don't know who, it seems like Angelina Jolie's holding this thing up.
Yeah,
I don't know that for sure. That's just rumored. But, like, get it done for the kids. Take yourselves out of it for once. They both have endless money. None of them are going to lose.
Right, what are they stressed about?
Right, split it down the middle. I don't care. Take whatever you want. Let's just do this for the kids because it's been 4 years already. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, you always have to remember, somebody said the internet, everything is written in ink. So these kids will go back for the rest of their lives and read about this and read about how nasty their parents' divorce was. And remember, like, when you do split with somebody, that's half of who they are. So when they go, your mom's the reason this fell apart, what you're saying is half of them is
at
wrong.
fault.
Yes.
Yeah, so. I always tell the story in a divorce where it was two rich people, and my dad was helping negotiate it, and it came down to family silverware, and they fought and fought and fought. And he said, "I'll take the silverware for a year, and then we'll come back to it." And in the end, no one cared about the silverware. It was just, I want to win. So it's a terrible thing. I hope the kids are okay.
Was that Barney and Wilma's divorce?
I hate all of them. The burn button? I look chic and French. There are certain topics you might not want to discuss with your family, but for Jada Pinkett Smith, nothing is off limits on her show Red Table Talk. She sits down with her mother and 18-year-old daughter Willow, and they talk about a wide range of topics. Jada says in an upcoming episode, they'll talk about polyamory, which was Willow's idea, aka having multiple lovers. Jada tells Jimmy Kimmel that doesn't make her uncomfortable, but when they talked about pornography, yeah, that was too much. Take a look.
I learned a little bit too much about my mother and surely about my daughter. I was like, for the first time, I never thought that I personally would have a TMI moment at the Red Table. And
because
that
you want
was
to
the
know
show.
everything. You're one of those kind of people.
Very inquisitive like that.
Me too. There's never a moment where I feel like I've been told too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
Except for that show.
DBL Nation, we want to know what topics are off limits with family.
My mom is like my best friend, so I tell her everything. But we had a TMI moment when I was talking. I was just joking around, and I was talking. What'd you do last night? I was out in the club. I had 2 girls, and then we went back to the place. And then she was like, "Hey, that ain't nothing like when back in the day before I met your daddy, I had to cut it down right there. Like, come on, Mom, I'm your son. What are we talking about?
That is horrifying.
I had to shut that down right there. So, I'm still thinking about it.
I think it's healthy, though. When my kids are growing up, I want them to tell me every day. I don't want anything to be off the table. I just don't like when parents and kids are best friends. I hate when they're, like, really close, like mom's hanging out with daughter, and they're like
enmeshed a little.
Yeah, it's like, it's a little weird for me. What was it like for you growing up in Bedrock?
Well, my best friends were Dino. What is it? Dino? I messed that up. Okay. No, but I will say, I think my parents always said, even if you're wasted and you're like 16 and you're at a party and you're embarrassed, but you don't have a ride home, call me. Because of that relationship, I could, and I did, and I could have saved a life.
I want to be that parent.
But what about the other way? Like, is there anything that your parents could have talked to you about? Or it seems like your parents were open books.
Yeah,
especially your mom.
I think they tried to hide some of the medical problems, and eventually we were like, we want to know everything. And they sort of treated us like adults in that respect, and we had to kind of grow up really fast. But you get to know a lot about someone when they're sick, and I think everything was on the table, and that's why we have that relationship, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I hope I have that with my children.
You will. You will. Planning a wedding can be super stressful, from making the guest list, dealing with in-laws, and finding a venue. Well, one bride has the ultimate clapback, and people are praising her reaction. It's all detailed in a viral Reddit post. The bride says her mother-in-law demanded she invite 80 extra people to the wedding when there were only about 50 people invited initially. That's when the bride canceled the wedding and got married in a national park with their two best friends. This is right up your alley.
Yeah, I'm down with this. Yeah, you should bring your two best friends, Betty and
Okay, we're gonna keep going. It's never gonna end. You want to put a bone right there? That's all we need. That's never gonna end.
Who's Barney and Betty?
Oh God, bad day to host in this. What do you guys feel?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of more Flintstones.
Right. Okay.
No, I'm with Bam Bam yet.
Well, I'm using it for next time. You use that one. No, I'm down with this. I think weddings, honestly, they become too commercialized. They become too business-like. I think the love is out of the wedding. There's so much stress. It's so much money. Everything. It's like ridiculous.
And I do think, in a way, Pinterest has helped make it even more so. You have to make it perfect and Pinterest ready. At least for brides, it was like Pinterest, 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 and it's like no more about the love.
But they show you, like, they want. It's just crazy. You go there and they're like, here's a dance floor, but here's a dance floor that lights up. You know, I'm like, oh my God, everything is just added. You know,
it's not about the love.
So commercialized. They want to make money off of it. Then you see stuff like he went to Jared's. Just because he went to Jared doesn't mean he loved you. Like, we see people buy all types of jewelry and shower someone with expensive gifts just to keep that person as a trophy wife or just their trophy husband, that sort of thing. The love's not there. So I love what she did.
Yeah.
Because you went against the mother-in-law. You see people who their mother controls their life.
Yeah.
So this is that way of saying, I'm not so much scratching you out of the situation, but I am his now and he is mine.
But in the
Mom's gotta
future,
sit back.
that's going to be hard to deal with because now you have a mean or a very angry mother-in-law.
But she had to set that precedent.
Yeah.
If she didn't set that, if she let the mother-in-law steamroll that situation, she is in for a long marriage. She let her mother know. It's like, look, you can be mad, but you know what? When this door shuts, it's me and my husband. It's not you.
Yeah. That's a good point. All right, some sad news, guys, from the music world today. We are remembering a New Orleans music legend, Dr. John. He passed away yesterday at the age of 77 after a heart attack. The Grammy Award winner is well known for his music, like this hit, Right Place, Wrong Time. Take a listen. Ooh, what do you think?
I'm digging it. I mean, although I'm sad to see him pass, his music is going to be rocking in those clubs in New Orleans all night long for as long as we're around. So rest in peace, Dr. John. We appreciate you.
It's true. It's true. That's weird that musicians, their legacy lives on forever just in their sound.
Right.
It's so interesting.
That's what I was thinking. It's so cool to be a musician and know that music that you're making is going to live on.
And Jeff, a musician in New Orleans, my favorite city. I always say I'm not super religious, but New Orleans is the closest thing I have to like a spiritual connection to the city. Without that, New Orleans is a special place to
me. The beignets are out of this world. Before we go to break, we need to give a big... What? They're good. A big DBL shout out to Bam Bam says they're good. 4 Oklahoma teens. The boys range from 14 to 17 years old. They saved their 90-year-old neighbor when her house caught fire. The teens broke the door down to get inside, finding her in a room filled with smoke. Fortunately, everyone got out safely. This photo is from earlier in the week when the woman was able to meet up with the boys to thank them. She says one word is always on the tip of her tongue: grateful.
See, when we're talking about teens,
yeah, 4 teens right here.
4 teens right here went and saved someone. Let's talk about the kids who marched for climate control. Let's talk about the kids who marched for gun violence. And you 4 idiots are going to go and jump two lesbian women.
For loving each other.
For loving each
Right,
other.
that's
So,
right.
I mean,
But like I said,
congratulations to
that
those
attack
kids.
was more about them than that couple.
Yeah.
Those are some young men dealing with some real demons.
Yeah.
And I think we see, though, like with all the things you just listed, there's a lot more positive things.
Yeah.
And like obviously, like working with you guys has helped me see that. Because as a comic, I always kind of look for the negative things. Because that's the funny part.
Right.
Yeah. I think social media has clouded that. You know what I mean? And life is all about balance. Life is balance. I believe that. So for every bad thing that happens, a good thing that happens, just like this. We had it today. We started off with a bad story. This is a good story. But unfortunately, with social media and things that we see, we're clouded by that fact. But you have to believe that life is good with people like this.
I like that ending right there. Coming up on DBL, our own Stephanie Jones is showing you how to make the most of summer flea markets this season. And Alec Baldwin says he's overplaying Donald Trump on TV. So who's going to fill his shoes? That's coming up next.
Huh?
Oh, God. Yeah, honey.
What happened?
Oh, no, it was funny. I know. I saw that. I saw that.
Oh, I'm looking up some Flintstone jokes right now.
So I want to ask some questions about the Flintstones. I really only know there's Fred and Wilma, and they had a baby. And then there was Barney and Betty.
No, I got it already. I don't want to give away.
And see,
That's
I
their
think that's
kid.
Barney's
That's
kid.
Barney and Betty's
Wait,
kid.
can somebody pull up a Flintstones quiz?
Oh, that's good.
I know the answer. I just
Not
want
me, just in general, because the
Yeah, that's
Flintstones
good.
was a pattern after the Honeymooners, was it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, what made the records move? Do you guys remember that? Well, how could they play records in the Flintstones?
Was it a, oh, it was a shell. Wasn't it a shell?
I thought it was a toucan with a beak.
tooth.
The beak
Oh,
was the
good
little,
one.
Yeah, I said it too.
Remember the dishwasher?
You have the answer.
I didn't know that. I haven't gotten there yet.
You're looking at the
I
quiz.
just haven't gotten there yet. Start the quiz.
You just thought of that.
It is this. And now tell me about Dino. Does he come out of the house with
No,
his
he
tail?
went through the window. And then he
That's
marched in
right.
and threw Fred out of the window.
Yeah. What was it? What was
that's
their?
it.
Remember their garbage disposal?
Oh, it was like someone very hungry.
It was a dinosaur that was very hungry.
Okay.
Yeah, someone.
It was me.
Stick Pete down there.
Okay, try and sing the first line of the theme song.
When you're
No.
with the Flintstones.
Start with Flintstones.
Meet the Flintstones.
Keep going.
There is yabba dabba.
No, that's at the end.
Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones.
Go.
They're the modern Stone Age family.
There you go. Keep going.
From the town of Bedrock. Place right out of history.
A page right out of history.
There.
Oh.
One day.
Let's ride.
What?
Let's ride with the family down the street.
Let's ride with the
Family down the street through the courtesy of Fred's 2 feet. I didn't know that was the words.
When you're.
Meet the Flintstones.
Oh, wow.
It's like good.
Welcome back to DBL. It's Friday, and this weekend you might get cozy on the couch and watch some TV. So we're breaking down the latest TV news. Alec Baldwin says he's done playing Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live. He's played the president since 2016. Now, Baldwin told USA Today he wants to spend more time with his family, and the show takes over his entire weekend, and he doesn't want to play Trump anymore. He wants executive producer Lorne Michaels to, quote, find somebody who wants to do it. So I want to go around the horn and say, do you have a dream cast for who to play President Trump?
Start with Al.
He's a good one?
Yeah, my buddy Frank Caliendo. He's here on the show.
Good.
He naturally just does a very good Trump. And the thing is, I feel like with great impressionists, they can obviously sound like the person, but they can think like them. Not just like when people do like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like they can only do "I'll be back" because you're just mimicking that sound.
Right.
The real skill is like when you can just talk like that person, and Frank can do that. So I don't know. I mean, there's an avalanche of tweets
Talent.
if you decide to play Trump, but I mean,
think
he's got the talent to do it.
When Frank was on the panel, he co-hosted. He turned and did George W. Bush, and I felt like I was looking. His face.
It's weird.
It changed physically into him. It was amazing. So I'm with Frank. You have one?
I'm going with Frank. Let's just make it all
Okay,
around.
Frank.
All around.
Yeah.
Frank. All right.
I'm
Frank.
texting him and letting him know.
All right. That we've decided he has the job.
Congratulations, Frank.
Bravo.
You're welcome, buddy.
Wilma says it's yours. Hold on to your HBO subscriptions if you haven't already. We're going to want to binge Chernobyl. Fans and critics are calling the miniseries one of the best shows on TV. I highly agree. Chernobyl tells the true story of one of the world's worst nuclear disasters, when a reactor exploded in 1986, causing mass amounts of radiation exposure, forcing a permanent evacuation of the town. Here's the trailer.
I'm pleased to report that the situation in Chernobyl is stable. In terms of radiation, I'm told it's the equivalent of a chest x-ray.
No, Chernobyl is on fire.
And now tourists are flocking to the abandoned site. Tourism has spiked since the show's debut. The last episode aired on Monday. I've watched it. I loved every episode. It's like watching movies at night. It's fantastic. But going to Chernobyl is a terrible idea, or dangerous. You don't want to stay too long.
No, it's a terrible idea.
It's like
No, you hit it
too long. You shouldn't go at all.
You should not go at all. They said that the protective garments that the firefighters wore is still just as radioactive as it was the first day that it happened. They just built a facility and covered Chernobyl. They didn't like clean it up.
Yeah, they just covered it with
the way
steel.
that you think like, oh, we'll just clean this up. You could not. The radiation was already in the atmosphere. And when you watch it, I'm not spoiling anything, but you'll see how close we were to a global disaster like a couple of hours. So this happened within our lifetime, and a lot of us were already adults or young adults. So it's really fascinating.
I can see why people want to go though, Al. I mean, we talked. We had a story. We had a story the other day about how many of the weird amusement parks there are out there. Everyone has their fetish. Everyone has their thing, and this is a piece of
I don't know if radiation is a fetish.
But how weird are people? Like, people are weird. They're going to want to go do that.
I would think that you sometimes you have to protect people against themselves. I would think that you shouldn't be allowed to go almost like unless you were a scientist. I mean, when they were doing the radiation tests on the clothing, I mean, the guy is still covered head to toe in like that yellow outbreak suit.
Yeah. God, I would stay away, guys. Just watch it on HBO and find a friend with it.
And go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
How's Hawaii, Chernobyl?
Or Bedrock. Coming up on DBL, easy tips and tricks to make the most out of your local flea market this summer. Don't miss it when DBL comes back.
Hey DBL Nation, it's Lex and I'm here with the DBL Digital team giving you guys more top trending stories during the breaks here at Daily Blast Live. If you haven't seen Chernobyl yet, I highly recommend it. It's incredible. It's super engaging and historical, and you're going to learn a whole lot about it. And I'm waiting and buying time for Tori Schulman to come here because I have a story that she's going to love. Here she is.
Look how chic she looks.
You guys look cute together. Like, you guys
We're kind of like safari.
Yeah,
okay.
Safari chic. Safari chic. Yeah.
Hey, look over there. The giraffes. Oh. Is that what they sound like?
No, I
We're
don't
getting
know.
punchy here.
Anyway, new trending story for you. It's about Joe Biden, how he has now reversed his position on the Hyde Amendment.
Amendment.
Got it.
Yeah, this is my issue, and whether or not you know the Hyde Amendment or you agree with the Hyde Amendment, take it out of the Hyde Amendment.
And wait, before we start, it's basically that you can't use federal money for abortions.
Correct.
Right?
So this is the problem. When you've been in the Senate for as long as Joe Biden, they call him the Lion of the Senate, there's going to be like, the world has changed. I mean, if you don't know this, he was one of the ones who went against Anita Hill, basically, in the Anita Hill hearings against Clarence Thomas. Well, now he's had to apologize to Anita Hill because the world has come so far. So he didn't believe 100% in like gay marriages. Well, now we have gay marriage. So it's funny when you've been around that long. Like Pete Buttigieg is my age, gay, in Indiana. He never has to deal with that. But do you want experience, or do you want someone who hasn't dealt with that? What do you feel is like a millennial? Everyone thinks of you as the millennial. Like, do you think you want someone with experience or fresh?
I like someone who's like through thinking. I like that he has now reversed his position on it and that he is kind of like accepting of the environment that we're in. I don't find it scary that he made this decision.
He can evolve.
Basically 48 hours is what the article said. So I kind of like that.
You want someone to be able to evolve.
Yeah, I think so.
And
Too.
adapt.
I think it'd be good.
All right, let us Safari guides know, DBL Nation, what do you like? Experience and evolving or brand new fresh blood?
Yeah.
Welcome back to DBL. Summer is a fantastic time to get out in the nice weather for garage sales and flea markets. So check out my tips for flea market success in this DBL Decked Out presented by Sunsetter Awnings. DBL Nation, I'm at the flea market, so we're going to go shopping. I've got my list and we are going to find some treasures. Always be sure to plan ahead. I recommend bringing a list of items that you're looking for and even have measurements of your space, especially if you're in the market for larger items. If you're trying to match decor, bring photos or fabric swatches and it's bound to help. I think that's gonna work. How much is the picture with the giraffes on it? 45. It's really important to create relationships. If you get to know the vendors, they might just give you a special deal. Is the price negotiable? Check each item before you buy and never be afraid to make an offer. If you see a scratch or a scuff, you might just get a discount. What about $40? Also, know your maximum price before you begin to bargain. If you hit that and the vendor won't budge, just walk away. Thank you. You'll never know when they might change their mind. 15.
Only for you.
For more ways to get the most out of summer, call Sunsetter Awnings at 1-800-507-3152. So now you guys know how to find all the best deals this summer. Happy shopping. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Now, you just saw a clip from the groundbreaking film Fast Color starring Gugu Mbatha Raw and Sanaya Sidney. It's about 3 generations of women who reunite as a family to channel their superhuman powers. Now, Gugu and Sanaya share what it's like being 2 female leads in a sci-fi action movie in today's Chatting with the Stars. Gugu and Sanaya, thank you so much for joining us at DBL. And you two met during auditions for Fast Color and instantly bonded because of your unique names. Now, what was that conversation like, and what do your names mean?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I met Sanaya at the audition, you're right, and I said, oh, Sanaya, I've never heard that name before. What does it mean? And Sanaya said... Radiant and brilliant.
Ooh.
Radiant and brilliant. I was like, wow. And my name is Gugaletu, my full name, and it means our pride. And I was like, I think we're going to get along because we both got these epic names.
Well, it looks like you wouldn't have bonded with me because I'm just Brandon. You know, I don't know what the significance is behind that.
I don't know.
I try and roll the R sometimes, but I'm done. Now, so Black Panther was one of the first major films to feature black women as superheroes. Were your characters written as black females?
No. I mean, when I read the script, it was just Ruth, Bo, and Lila. There was no sort of ethnic specificity about the characters.
Now, Gugu, what was it like playing a superhero struggling with sobriety?
This is definitely an unconventional superhero story, and for me, you know, as you said, Ruth has her addictions, and she's in recovery, and for me, that really grounded the story in a recognizable reality. It gave it something really in the real world to struggle against. This isn't like a superhero movie with capes and weapons and crazy special effects. This is about real people.
Your character Ruth has her own playlist of theme music. Now, what songs would you include on your own superhero soundtrack? And Sanaya, you can get in on that one as well.
I grew up listening to Nina Simone with my mum when I was a little girl. Yeah, and like Lauryn Hill. There's so many. I don't know. What would you have?
I have to plug my grandma because she had like this radio and she taped it and we just listened to it all day and dance around the house and listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, okay. If you could pick one superpower, what would that be?
I would have the superpower of making people happy. So I want my hands to get warm and put my hands on their face and for them to instantly feel emotionally happy inside.
Oh, we could use a lot more happiness in the world today. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. And DBL Nation, be sure to check out Fast Color, which is in theaters April 19th.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome back to DBL. A South Carolina middle school teacher is going viral for his tribute to Beyonce. He promised a student he would learn to dance to the song Before I Let Go if the student aced an exam. Well, she did, and he kept his promise. Watch this. Dedication, the teacher knew the 14-year-old student loved dancing and gave her an incentive she couldn't refuse. She choreographed the dance herself, and he really does do it justice. Like, he's got moves.
I was expecting like a bomb.
Like,
you know?
my dad a little bit, more dad dancing.
Yeah, no, that guy, I think that guy might have missed his calling as a choreographer.
He was good.
Like, he's really good.
Could you dance like that?
I could not, but I do have comments.
Oh, great.
All right.
Oh, go for it.
All right, you see that transition, Jeff?
Yeah.
I know.
I'm a pro. All right, John Venturini on YouTube says, this is the part of the show where I turn to camera 2 and say, at Tori Shulman, we only kid with the ones we admire. So you're winning, my friend.
Pebbles is your baby.
Pebbles, that was the name.
Pebbles is your baby.
All right, and Michael Loveland says, talking about Chernobyl, it was truly a worthwhile watch. And our girl Kim Matuzak on YouTube says, dang, Willow has grown up a lot since the Whip Your Hair video. Yes, she has. It's weird to watch the kids get older because that means you are too.
Yes, it does. How do you feel being ancient? Both of you good?
It's all right.
Say hi to Mr. Slate for us.
I will. All right, guys, we'll see you everyone at the same time, same place. Mr. Slate.
Hi, DBL Nation. Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital Team.
On acid.
No, I'm happy because it's my weekend. I'm about to get out of here, but we have a great show coming up, but I think we should go to the desk and bother Jeff. What do you guys think? Hey, Big Jeff.
Yeah.
I came up here to bother you.
Why?
Because it's just good to do. Are you excited for Big Brother coming up?
Yeah, I am.
So John Venturini has some theories that there could be, I think it's
Big
John
Brother
Venturini,
theories already?
correct me
When's
if
it
I'm wrong. The 25th, I think? Correct me if I'm wrong. But John Venturini has a theory that it could be 8 new people and 8 old people. Or something like that. Sorry if I got that wrong, John. He's studying, so he's no help.
So that's where Jeff's been on the weekends.
Oh.
The weekends, you get locked in.
Oh my God, I would just die if Jeff went back on Big Brother.
Dude.
I would be very happy. No, I'm just people are asking, how do you enjoy your steak? How do you order it?
Medium rare. There's no other way to order it.
Medium,
I like medium. Well, yeah, that's fine. Okay,
You just said there was no other
as
way.
long as you're not getting it medium well.
My
mom gets it rare.
You get it medium well?
My mom likes it
it needs to be. So I order it medium rare always, but it's been coming medium.
You order
and
your steak medium rare?
Yes.
I like
What
a
do you
medium
do?
to medium
I'm
rare.
medium.
Yeah, so
Medium.
medium rare plus, some would say.
My mom has to
Someone
sign
call
a
that medium
waiver
rare
when she
plus.
orders rare. No,
Really?
seriously.
She likes it mooing still.
Yeah, they say it might have something in there.
Dude,
She has to sign.
when I worked at this restaurant, they would get it well done, like a nice piece of meat. The chef would go out there and like talk.
Yeah,
about it. He'd be like,
yeah,
"Dude,
because-
just get a cheaper piece of meat.
Yeah,
don't
just
waste
get a bad
it."
piece of
He's
meat
like, don't
then.
waste it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't get the good piece of meat.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Friday, June 7th. What day is it, Erica?
It's Friday.
That's how that works.
It's
We
way
are
better,
live, and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. And right now, I'm here with Erica, Tori, and Al. I'm Jeff. Let's get to it, guys. A horrific story out of London where a lesbian couple was viciously beaten on a bus. And according to our viewers, the pictures you're about to see are graphic and may be disturbing. A young woman named Melania was with her girlfriend Chris when she says they were approached by a group of young men. The guys demanded they kiss and began making lewd comments. The confrontation turned violent, leaving the two women bloody. Melania posted this picture and added it to her Facebook story, hoping to shed light on how common violence has become. And just in, this is great news, 4 teenagers have been arrested in connection to the attack, according to CNN. So at least they did find who did this.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of obvious. It was on the top of a double-decker bus, which is a tourist location in London with CCTV cameras on there. The audacity to do it, the idea that's in Pride Month, shows that it isn't, and it's global. It's global, and we have Pride parades for a reason, because awareness is important, because this still happens. 3 African-American transgendered youths just lost their lives being killed in Dallas in under a year. There's a string of attacks going on, and it needs to be brought to the attention, and I'm proud to say we're doing this on daytime TV.
And I feel like we're making strides. You know, I want to be positive about where we're going as Americans, as a country, as a world. And every time we do stories like this, it just feels like we're taking a step backwards.
Well, also laughing or normalizing people deciding to do things like straight pride parades. This is the reason why it's detrimental, because straight people have never been stoned and tried to be killed for being straight. So it's not funny when people do things like that. It's also not funny, and it's not cute, and this is the reason why I had an issue with what Mel B did when she said that she had an experience with another band member.
That's right.
Because being in a relationship with another woman is not for anyone else's enjoyment or pleasure. To have someone come up and say, well, you two should kiss, that's not, like, these are real people.
They're not your entertainment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think anytime we have things that are making it a step backwards, as you say, because we're not addressing what it is, like when we're laughing at these things, I think it's equally detrimental.
And I think, like, you think about how much pushback we got when we started talking about the Gillette commercials with the toxic masculinity. And that's exactly what this is about. This is 4 young men feeding off of their insecurities and feeding off just basically being horrible people. If there had been one young man, just have him be like, what are you guys talking about? We're not going to stop that. If it had been somebody on that bus, but this is what that Gillette commercial, their ads are talking about, is like we need young men to step up and be advocates, not just not do anything, not just say, well, I didn't hit him. It's like, no, you need to stand in between those young women and that imminent threat, and that's what those commercials are talking about. So when you push back against those commercials in a weird way, you're pushing for those young men.
It makes sense, man. And in related news, a Goldman Sachs executive is suing because he said he was fired for being gay. The former VP says he was kept off a client call because he sounded too gay on the phone. He also claims his supervisor asked him, quote, what's wrong with you? Do you act this way because you're gay? Goldman Sachs officials said the lawsuit was without merit. Now, this is surprising to me a little bit because Goldman Sachs is very what's the word?
Strongly progressive
Yes,
for
progressive
LGBT.
is the word I'm looking for. Yes.
Very. They get paternity leave. They have a lot of policies and training. So it's rare for a VP to say this is how they called it.
I believe Brandon said they pay for reassignment surgery.
They do. They do. They help pay for it. But though, what's interesting to me is it's up to this gentleman to prove that he was discriminated against for being gay. You don't bring a case against Goldman Sachs unless you have some kind of an email, a text, something. It's not just I came up with it, I was fired, I'm gay, and that's the reason. This comes from a long line of you sound too black, you sound too white, you sound too women, you sound too manly. There's an idea that it's not okay to be who you are. You have to sound like the white male kind of way. So this reminds me a lot of passing, if you know what I'm saying, and going back to that.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, I agree. I think it's important, though, especially when you're in, this is a person who is in leadership. Yeah. And I think that it shows their lack of leadership. And if I were Goldman Sachs, I would be looking at other things that have to show. Because if you are someone who is trying to manage the way that someone speaks, why aren't you trying to manage the way that they're managing how they work? That's your job. So anyone who's you sound too gay, you sound too black, whatever it is that hurting the progress of the job? So your bias, you're going to allow your bias to hinder my progress to work for you. It's ridiculous.
That's what is so strange to me about this story is obviously we don't know all the ins and outs. Right. But if somebody called and in an effeminate voice said to you, you've just doubled what you're worth, would you go, you sound too gay? You would be like, I'm sending champagne over to your place right now. That's why I think.
Well, I don't think normal people think.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So like, I cannot believe that this, because I would think it would just be, in this business only, especially Wall Street, it would just be green.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like color or any. But you never know. You never know.
Alleged.
And it could be an aberration, but good for him to.
And they say these are meritless, so that we don't know.
We don't know. All right, guys. And on Monday, we do have a very special guest joining us, Nat Worth. He was the valedictorian of his high school in Wisconsin this year, but his graduation speech was canceled because he wrote about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school. You don't want to miss his very, very powerful story. That's on Monday, so make sure you tune in. All right, guys. What is that? Oh, there. I thought I was in a one-man show here. All right, Beyonce fans are up in arms in case you didn't get the joke. It was over this moment. Wednesday night's NBA final game, a woman named Nicole Curran, who happens to be the Warriors owner's wife, was leaning over Beyonce to speak to Jay-Z. Fans noticed Beyonce giving her the side eye, or the old stink eye, and that's when they pounced. I'm talking about the Beehive. Twitter erupted with comments like, "This Becky with the good hair about to get her wig split, and Curran defended her.
That was awful. That was great.
That was good.
That was great.
I got you.
I'm getting a snap from Jeray.
Jeray, don't snap at that. That was terrible.
All right, and so that's the end of the story. We don't even need to read the rest of that. So what do you? I don't like this. I wish Beyonce steps up. I'm glad her reps stepped up and said, Beyonce does not like this, but Beyonce needs to step up and say she does not like this.
Yeah, because the woman at the point is now getting death threats, right? The Beehive beehived her so hard she's getting death threats. She's canceled all of her online social media accounts, and she's had to go into no, Nicole Curran, because of all the death threats. So at some point, does Beyonce need to get involved to say, stop?
Absolutely.
I'm supposed to be a person of power and femininity and truth and love, and I'm not about this hate. Or do you think the publicist?
Making a face.
But you don't think so, huh?
I don't think that it's I think having the publicist say something is all that she really needs to do, and she didn't have to do that. You have to remember, Beyonce is at the top, so she's always someone's always coming for her. Yeah. I think the Beehive is so aggressive because it's an extra, because she's an extraordinary person. This is her way of being like, handle my lightweight. May we all be so blessed to have someone to handle our lightweight. Do I think death threats are way too much? Absolutely. But I can understand why they are so supportive of her and why she opts not to get into the fray, because the moment you engage with somebody who has some negativity towards you, then that takes all of your energy and sucks it to them. That's the reason why I never engage with people.
Did you take this as negativity? Because they said she was just ordering a drink. I couldn't tell. I heard this video. I didn't see it. It looked like she was asking Jay, what did you get from
She said that she asked them, they were her guests. So here's a few things. She had asked them multiple times or invited them to a game. So this was the first time that they had said yes.
Nicole asking Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Jay-Z and Beyonce. They were her guests. She asked Jay-Z what he wanted. He wanted a vodka and soda. Beyonce wanted a water. Then she said, do you want a lime as well? That's what she said the questions were. I'm looking at Beyonce and saying, you've probably said too much, and that's the look that people give me when I've had a couple drinks and they're telling me maybe I should calm down and not have another one. I'm not saying the woman was drinking. I'm just saying that's the look I get when I've had too many drinks.
And definitely Erica's had that conversation with me before.
I was going to say, me and you have done it to each other.
Enough.
Hey, no, cut it. Yeah. But I do think, like,
I've been a witness.
Yeah, you have. But I think her fans also, just to end it on, Beyonce was we think cheated on. I mean, we know that from the Lemonade album and all that. There's a lot of backup support for Jay-Z doing anything bad. Do you know what I mean? As soon as that happened, the Beehive was like, we're on it. Or maybe not. No one wanted to say anything after my.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the point. But I also want to just throw this out, because you can check me out on @Erica Cobb. My little sister and I had we completely did this whole thing today. So
and that's on
my
IGTV.
Instagram, IGTV. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Yeah, she breaks it down. She's my Solange.
I like it. All right, guys, another moment from the NBA Finals is drawing a lot of attention right now. NBA officials are banning this man in the blue striped shirt, who is a part owner of the Warriors team, after he shoved a player courtside during the game. Venture capitalist Mark Stevens was also accused of directing obscene language at the Raptors point guard during the exchange. After the game, the Raptors player Kyle Lowry said, he had no reason to touch me. He had no reason to reach over 2 seats and then say some vulgar language to me. Well, the NBA agreed, slapping a $500,000 fine on him and banning him from attending games for an entire year, including the upcoming playoffs. Stevens has since apologized, saying it was a lapse in judgment.
Okay, so this is really rare for me, but I was watching it live, and Kyle Lowry, am I saying that right?
Kyle Lowry,
He
yeah.
fell back, and as soon as the guy reaches over and touches him, and you couldn't really see it, he goes to the refs, and he's like, right here, this guy, he pushed me, and I wanted them to eject or at least stop the play, because I remember Monica Seles. I don't know if a lot of millennials remember that, but Monica Seles had a stalker who ended up getting on the court and stabbing her in the back while she was playing tennis. So I don't like this amount of getting so close to the players. It's going to get dangerous, and I'm including Drake in that.
And I did watch. He did get ejected. I think they had to go to the monitors to see, because I looked at the clip 3 times. Where I was like, who pushed him? And then I saw him, because it's such a weird thing, because he had to reach over somebody to do it.
Reached.
I think that it's hard to, because of the optics, you don't think of this as assault. If he had pushed an NBA owner, if Kyle Lowry had done that and then called him vulgar names, will we be having this conversation about what we need to do? He would be out of there.
Yeah,
like
I see it as assault.
Yeah.
And I also see it as assault on his person. He's not chattel. I think that owners need to understand that they own a team and a franchise, not people. And the moment that you start to put your hands on people like that, it makes it seem like you're a little lost on the difference.
Yeah, I agree. NBA needs to come up with a hard, fast line in the sand.
Yeah.
Same with Drake, like you were saying,
Absolutely.
like no touching coaches, players, nothing.
Exactly. All right, guys, DBL's Live. We'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. And coming up, Alec Baldwin gets blunt about playing the president, why the actor's days as the commander-in-chief may be numbered. Then it's all over for Bradley Cooper and Irina Shayk. But could another woman be in the mix? And you, the viewer, are the fifth host. Now that Julia Roberts and Patricia Arquette have spoken out against sex scenes in movies, the debate is heating up. Are sex scenes even necessary? Your comments next.
Says, I love the girls' hair do's today. Tori won't have to be messing with her long hair.
Yabba dabba do.
It's a yabba dabba hairdo.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get a joke in there.
We didn't get the Flintstones
It's
joke
coming.
in there.
Did you get the text from Johnny Davis about the extreme? I'm reading it down. It looks like it's a half-mile swim.
Oh, I was like, who is that?
I was like, what are you talking about?
8.6 mile mountain bike trails, and then a 3.1 mile trail run. I've been running. I think I could do the trail run.
I feel like I could run too.
Guys, it's trail run is
so
uphill.
John Davis was the man. Yeah,
look at Jeray's face.
Treadmill? What?
Trail.
Oh, no, treadmill, honey.
Oh,
That's all I run on, girl.
I don't think I can do a half-mile swim. They'd have to come get me. I mean,
I
I
can
couldn't
do
do it
half
at
a
the Cherry
second.
Creek Athletic Club.
Half-mile
You
swim?
could go a lap.
Half mile?
Half mile.
Maybe I should start training for that. They'll give me something to like
Maybe.
Look forward to. So, tell
John
me.
Davis is a mentor, would you say?
Yeah.
A mentor to kids.
Especially boys.
Yeah, explain it.
Well, he's basically there to try and help with school shootings, and he's organized different
Help
activities,
prevent them.
help prevent them by getting to boys that have repressed their emotions so much, who may have those feelings,
Right.
to get to them before it actually happens. So he has things like they go work out, they go hiking, they go camping. So there's this fundraiser where there's a triathlon, and they were like, here, we could have a DBL host run each one. And I was like, I'll apply, and no one even looked at my way. But Sam...
We saw you during Double Dare. You couldn't get across.
My arms collapsed. I couldn't go from one age to the other.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It was a sad weakness, but
She's been
they
working
might be
out
going.
since then.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
You want to see something?
No, you were working out a lot
Welcome
then.
to the gun show.
Yeah,
Damn it.
those aren't like.
I
real
did some
guns,
for.
though.
I did 10 yesterday at the park.
You did
Wow,
10
that's good.
Push-ups.
10 push-ups.
10 push-ups.
Tori ran yesterday.
I
too.
ran yesterday.
How far?
There was like 4 or 5 strides.
I'd say a quarter of a kilometer.
They didn't want to wear me down, but it was really exciting, and I'm getting in shape, and I'm thinking I could do it maybe.
I think you could too, Tori.
The bike or the
Hell
trail?
yeah.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, and we talk about what you're talking about. A social media post about sex scenes in movies and TV shows has sparked an online debate. Recently, Patricia Arquette and Julia Roberts discussed the awkwardness of sex scenes. Now, a Reddit poll reveals that several viewers share the same sentiment. Some agree and say, hey, there I am. Some agree and say they're not necessary, while others say sultry scenes help develop characters and can actually make the movie. So, DBL Nation, should movie scenes or sex scenes be excluded?
Let's get to your comments. Brian from Facebook says, OMG, it's human nature. Humans have sex. I would agree with that. I mean, that's how we all got here. What?
That's a big laugh for Big T.
I think that there's an audience. There's an audience for everything. So if you don't like it, then maybe just don't watch it.
All right.
Yeah. Brilliant concept.
Dee Dee from Facebook says sex is a beautiful part of life. Dang right, Dee Dee. But it doesn't have to be put on display larger than life in a movie theater or on TV or in the family room. Look, we got access to big screens now, Dee Dee. Things are going to be larger than life, and you got to accept that.
Oh, boy.
Hey, listen, HGTV never heard it.
Okay, all right.
I'm all for it.
Okay, Cindy from Facebook says, as long as it doesn't get overly pornographic and leaves a little to the imagination, then I'm fine with sex scenes. Yeah, I don't think you should go full porno in your sex scenes, but I think sex in movies can actually help fulfill the plot. We want to see, I'm not going to say it right, but you want to see the passion build, and it's sometimes in movies, that's the most climactic part, no pun intended, I know. But all I'm saying is if you watch movies like Ghost or Brokeback Mountain, or sex scenes were vital to the plot, so I'm all for it.
Okay, are you all for current references? Wow. Just like in Casablanca. Wow, Tori.
It's Citizen Kane with Orson Welles. Remember that?
Karen from Facebook says, if you do not like sex scenes, don't watch them. You're typically warned in advance. That's true. They do have the ratings on there, but guess what? There is a saying called sex sells. They want to see men with their shirt off, with their sweaty abs, and women with their stuff,
You sound 11.
Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, if we were hanging out in the garage, I'd talk a little different.
All right, let's get this last comment in. Gary from Facebook says, I'd rather use my imagination. How often do you see graphic sex in theater productions? Almost never. And people enjoy Broadway shows. Gary, that ain't the same thing. That is not the same thing. I think there are places that you could go, like maybe in Amsterdam, and that would be the same thing. But that's not the same thing. Sorry, Gary.
What's one of your favorite sex scenes in a movie that really, was important to you?
I can tell you one that I remember. It actually did. It was like, because your sexual template is formed like very young.
Right.
My cousin took me to see Crush Groove. Now talk about a reference. I was like 4 or 5. When Blair Underwood and Sheila E. during Crush Groove, I was like, that was crazy. But yeah, it was.
Do you want to share
hot.
yours?
I like Legends of the Fall. Why am I like 90 years old?
Legends of the Fall.
Wow.
You should be saying that while on a porch swing. Like, that is so old. But an older woman, you're becoming right in front of me. Where's my fun young friend? I miss her so much.
Coming up on DBL, Brad Pitt has had enough. We'll tell you why he's getting tough in his divorce proceedings against Angelina Jolie. But first, a devoted teacher gets the gift of life when she least expected it. Miracles really do happen when we come back. Welcome back to DBL. Days of Our Lives is going strong after all these years. I sat down with Victoria Konefal, who plays Sierra Brady. Let's check it out. Victoria Konefal, thank you so much for joining us here on Daily Blast Live. Now, fans of Days of Our Lives know you as Sierra Brady, Bo and Hope's daughter. I actually interviewed in person last year on the set of Days of Our Lives in LA. Do you remember that?
Yes! Oh my gosh, hi!
You know what this sweater's made out of?
What?
Looks like marriage material.
You were my first slap ever, actually. They don't make me slap very often.
Well, we all know soap operas have crazy plots and situations. I remember you actually being tied up in a burnt-up bedroom when I was there last year on set. Tell me more about the most outrageous situations that your character has been involved in.
Well, actually, believe it or not, I was tied up in that very same bedroom again. So this girl, like, she just goes through the ringer over and over and over again. She should take some self-defense classes at this point because, man, she keeps getting herself in some serious situations.
That's not a good situation to be in twice, even once. As an actress, it's got to be hard to relate to some of these wild storylines. How do you prepare for all the emotions that your character has to portray on camera?
The underlying theme in everything is the emotions that you feel and not the situation. So if I feel fear, then I try to look back on my life to a time where I felt fear, and I try to relate it to the situation as closely as possible.
And speaking of outrageous, I remember you saying one time that your mom was a huge fan of Days of Our Lives before you actually landed the role, and her favorite characters were Bo and Hope. So how does she feel now that she's actually the parent, her real life daughter is on the show?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what she said. She said that when she gave birth to me, she never expected that her daughter would be Bo and Hope's daughter. She actually used Days of Our Lives. My mom's an immigrant.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about unexpected miracles. Watch how faith helped a woman survive the toughest battle of her life.
These women are connected through school, faith, and kidneys. After doctors diagnosed Nikisha with stage 5 kidney disease, she spent 3 nights every week after school on dialysis. She never took a sick day, determined to push ahead for her students and family, despite how long it could take to get a match for a new kidney.
They explained to me it'd take 4 to 5 years to get a kidney donor.
Nikisha tried asking friends and family for help, but none were matches. But when Tiffany, a school social worker, learned of Nikisha's struggle, she felt a calling in her heart to help her.
It's like in my heart, I knew that God was just saying, you've got to step up. And the question isn't why, it's why not.
Doctors tested Tiffany's kidneys for 6 months before she knew for sure.
She ran into my room, then she stood outside my door, and she had this sign said, Jesus chose me for you. And I screamed, I cried.
They both went into surgery this spring and made it through successfully, officially intertwining their lives forever.
I am truly blessed. Words will never be able, I guess, to describe how I truly feel, and I truly love you for that. Thank you.
What a beautiful heart there. It's coming up on DBL. Bradley Cooper is single again after ending it with Irina Shayk. But will he be on the market for long? And it's the show everyone is watching, but are you? We'll tell you why Chernobyl is wowing audiences and critics alike.
Rafe Fiennes, welcome to Daily Blast Live. So happy to have you on. I watched your film, The White Crow, last night.
You.
Outstanding. Well done. You recently set the internet on fire when you revealed how Voldemort's wand works. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and even though the last movie came out 8 years ago, people are still fascinated with your character. And did I hear you originally turn down the role? Why?
I didn't say no. I just was on the fence about it for some time. I think I was trying to sort of say I don't think it's for me until my sister Martha, who has 3 children, and said to me, what are you thinking? They're asking you to play Voldemort? You're mad. You must play this part.
Thank goodness nobody could play Voldemort but you. Let's move on to your film, The White Crow. It is a beautiful movie about a complicated life I read that you've spent the past 20 years trying to make this movie. Now that it's here, what are you hoping audiences take away as they leave that theater?
Well, I suppose I'm hoping they're moved by the very things that moved me about it, which was the story of a young boy from a very poor background in Central Soviet Russia who discovers inside themselves this fiery hunger, need to dance, and nothing can push them off that track. And I suppose that moves me, and his need to absorb all art forms and to push himself into ballet and to push the form of ballet. Indeed, he felt competitive with the ballerinas. He felt that the women in ballet got all the best showy numbers, and I think he wanted to pull some back for the fella.
Before The White Crow, you swore, Rafe, that you would never star in a film you are directing again. So what changed your mind about this film?
To be honest, the finance was very, very difficult. And I was having a wonderful time inviting all these brilliant Russian actors to be part of it, who are some of them well known in Russia, but of course distributors and financiers look for who has some kind of international profile, which
Right.
Largely thanks to Harry Potter, I suppose I have.
Well, I think you're brilliant at it as well. Thank you so much for talking to us, Rafe. I strongly urge all of our viewers at home to watch his movie, The White Crow. It is fantastic. It is out in theaters April 26th. Thanks again, Rafe.
Thank you, Sam.
Welcome back to DBL. Al, you got some comments over there?
Jeff, I do. All right.
That worked out well.
That's right. How'd you know? Mark from Reno, biggest little city in the country. The dude only owns 8% of the Warriors. What is he doing courtside anyway? And this is in regards to the Warriors owner that pushed Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's a millionaire.
Yes, he's got a lot of money, but doesn't condone his actions.
Nope.
And this is regarding Beyonce at the game. Joanna in LA says Beyonce looked like she was going to cut her. That's a look that every guy's gotten that look that she has, so it's interesting to see a woman get it from time to time.
There you go. All right, guys.
Whatever you're doing.
Here's what's coming up next, and it doesn't involve cutting.
Bradley Cooper and Irina Shayk are over, done, kaput. But will another leading lady pick up the pieces of Bradley's broken heart? Then, here comes the drama when a bride cancels her special day to spite her mother-in-law. What led to her drastic measures? And is Alec Baldwin ready to dump Trump? The reason the actor says it's over. Coming up on DBL.
Hello, DBL Nation, and welcome to The Breaks. I've got a trending story out of Yahoo.com, you guys. Now, the new Disneyland Galaxy's Edge just opened up. That is their big Star Wars land that just premiered, and I'm so jealous of Sam, shocker. If you're watching this, you're there, and I'm so jelly right now, and I can't wait till I can go experience that for myself. But guys, I want to talk a little bit about some news about Galaxy's Edge employees. They've been banned from saying a specific word. Now, I'm going to let y'all write in and try to guess real quick. It's not lightsabers, not Jedi, it's not Sith, but it's actually younglings. And for a little bit of context, you guys, younglings was a term used in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And it was, of course, one of the prequel movies to the main Star Wars franchise that came back out in the 1970s. But in this movie, and spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it, Anakin does become Darth Vader, and he ends up, unfortunately, hurting younglings. He's
killing younglings.
Yeah, killing younglings. But, I mean, it could put some fear into kids, and honestly, it's just not after that scene happened, it's just not a good idea to use that term anymore. But they have said that they've banned it, period. They really don't want employees using it. They prefer people don't use it, but of course fans are going to use it anyway. But just with the context of that movie and what happens to those unfortunate younglings that were not shown, it's just the context, sticky. They're not going to use it at all with the employees. But DBL Nation, write us in and let us know. Are you planning on seeing the Galaxy's Edge? Are you planning a trip to go? We'll see you next break.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. Let's get to it, guys. Today we have some big breakup news out of Hollywood. Dun, dun, dun. I wish I had a soundboard over here.
Yeah, because that didn't sound good.
No, it did not. All right, Bradley Cooper and Irina Shayk are on the rocks, according to People magazine. They're calling it quits after 4 years of dating, and just in, CNN reports the couple has been on and off for a year. All right, good to know. People reports they decided to end their relationship on good terms and are working out shared custody of their daughter. No word on what caused the split, but we've been reporting our rumors all week that the relationship was on the rocks. This all comes amid rumors that Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper have been a romance brewing, huh? Huh? Yeah. Remember this performance at the Oscars? Who could forget? That wasn't at the Oscars. And no one can deny their on-screen chemistry in A Star is Born. That's what that is. How long is this story, man? But do they have chemistry in real life? Apparently, that's what a lot of people online are hoping. Some even speculating, and this is a total rumor, but she could have a baby within a year.
Well, yeah, it's
Are you
possible.
still with me, Erica, or were you thinking about something else?
Oh, no, I was with you. But I am saying it is possible. She could have a baby within a year. I mean,
Even if they
it takes
do it like in a month or
9 to 10 months to brew one.
I mean, we're laughing and joking about the story, but I don't know. I feel like the optics, even from somebody that's not really a hardcore observer, it just felt like it was a little inappropriate. Like, Erica, if that was your husband, would that interaction have bothered you?
I think it's one thing when you're at work and you're doing it for the chemistry and everything's for the film, but it's no surprise that both of them were in relationships that were on the rocks when they were putting so much energy into each other, like literally.
Right.
At the Golden Globes when she won, or maybe it was the SAG Awards, her fiance at the time stood up and clapped and like they kissed and all that stuff. But it was Bradley Cooper who came around the table to help her up the stairs.
Yeah.
You know who should be helping you up the stairs? Your man.
It's true.
Yeah.
And if you even hear the origin of how he picked her to be in that movie, he saw her at Sean Parker, he created Napster, singing La Vie en Rose party, and he became like entranced with her and they became friends, and then he was like, he wiped off the makeup with her face, was like, come to the audition without makeup. There's a lot of like story behind them that's very, very fiery and passionate.
Wait, he did that in real life?
Bradley Cooper?
He
Eric,
took a makeup wipe and was like
It made it
this.
seem like he was like a French man or something.
Yeah.
He speaks French.
Well, there you go. All right, we've known Brett.
We
got
have to
more?
do hashtag Lady Cooper is what it'll be.
Oh.
They're not getting together.
You don't think?
No.
Or Bradley Gaga. That's also good. Thank you.
We could work on it. All right. We've known Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are on the rocks, right? They filed for divorce 3 years ago, and it's still not finalized. Now the Sun reports that Brad has given Angelina an ultimatum. Sign the papers or his legal team will turn up the heat. Reports say Brad is worried the divorce could drag on for years. It already has.
It has been 3 years.
Yeah.
And I've been in a family member of mine had one of these divorces, and there are certain type of divorces that just go on endlessly, and the fighting never ends. And it's 3 years of losing money, going to lawyers, kids suffering, the parents suffering. They don't get new relationships. The whole thing is terrible. I really hope she isn't just dragging along for I don't know what reason. They both have money.
Yeah. That's what I don't understand. I feel for the kids in this situation.
Sometimes it feels like that final power play.
Yeah.
There's always
I want the last
something,
word.
or no, it's more like there's always something that you have again, or you can hold on to. This is the last piece that she will have control over. So it's like, because I've been divorced, and I knew people who were in the same situation that I was in, where they were dating someone who was going through a divorce. But when my ex and I went through divorce and it was expedited and it went really fast, and it begged the question why these other people couldn't get themselves together.
Right.
And I think a big part of it is two people have to want the divorce and not want power over each other. And sometimes it's about the power over each other.
And Erica, let's not forget, we're talking about a system that's more than happy to let you guys drag it out financially. Oh, you're going to take that from him? I would let this go another 6 months and show him you're not playing. Oh, you're going to let her file that? By the time you know it, everybody's broke except for the lawyers.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and people don't even think about that.
No.
All right, guys, there are certain topics you might not want to discuss with your family, but for Jada Pinkett Smith, almost nothing is off limits. On her show, Red Table Talk, she sits down with her mother and 18-year-old daughter, Willow, and they talk about a wide range of topics. Jada says in an upcoming episode, they'll talk about polyamory, which was Willow's idea, a.k.a. having multiple lovers. Jada tells Jimmy Kimmel that doesn't make her uncomfortable, but when they talk about pornography, that was just too much for old Jada.
I learned a little bit too much about my mother and surely about my daughter. I was like, for the first time, I never thought that I personally would have a TMI moment at the Red Table. And
because
that
you
was
want to
the
know
show.
everything. You're one of those kind of people.
I'm very inquisitive like that.
Me too. I don't. There's never a moment where I feel like I've been told too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
Except for that show.
So DBL Nation, we want to know what topics are off limits with your family. Write us some private thoughts.
Yeah, tell us how we can tell national television about it.
We'll make sure to read them at the end of the show. Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard because, as you get older, when you're growing up, your parents are kind of these objects that are in the way of what you want. I want to get to the car, so how do I ask my mom to do that? I want to go to this party, I want to go to sleepover. But as you get older, your parents just kind of become human beings. And when you start to talk to them, they start to talk to you as your friend. And this can lead to conversations like that, but it does kind of, in a weird, it sounds, this might be the wrong word, but almost like humanize your parents. Like, it's like when you look back, you might go like, why did my mom do that? And you look and you're like, my mom was 24 when she had me.
Yeah.
You think about how young you were at 24, but as you're growing up, you've always seen her as your mom. So I think it's kind of cool as you get older, the decisions they made, the good ones and the bad ones start to make more sense.
Well, because my mother and my sister are in the studio right now, I'm just going to pass. I'm going to pass on the topic.
I would say this, like, for my family, and I went to as you guys know, a very hippy-dippy school. You talked about your feelings. You sat on the ground. You called the teachers by their first names. My mom and dad made it clear that even if you are drugged out of your mind on heroin, and you and you are wasted and you don't have a ride home, you should feel comfortable enough to call and say, I need help, I'm super wasted and I don't have a ride. And that happened. And I had to call, I wasn't doing heroin, of course, but I called and said, hey, I don't have a ride, this guy wants to drive, he's been drinking. And they weren't angry. That relationship was built, though, on many, many parts of trusts that we all built together.
Yeah.
And it could have saved a life. So I hope to, when I have kids, that I'm that close. I don't want to be a mesh, like I'm a cool mom, but I do want them to feel trust. They can come to me about anything.
That's how, I hope my kids do that. That's what I pray about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want anything to be off the table.
Right.
Like you said, whatever it is, I want you to tell me.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? And we could work through it together. So I'm going to teach that while they're growing up.
I think it's great.
Absolutely. All right, guys, planning a wedding can be stressful. I know. From making the guest list, dealing with the in-laws, and finding a venue, one bride has the ultimate clapback, and people are praising her reaction. It's all detailed in a viral Reddit post. The bride says her mother-in-law demanded she invite 80 extra people to the wedding when there were only 50 people initially invited. And that's when the bride canceled the whole wedding and got married in a national park with their two best friends.
This is how you do it.
Yep.
And it's important to do it this way because when people get married, and yes, it is the union of two families, but before those two families can merge, those two people have to be very clear about what they want and what they don't want. When you get a big wedding, especially when other people are paying for it, the parents, everybody wants to put and like weigh in, and everybody involved wants to weigh in. That's the reason why my husband and I decided that we were just going to go ahead and do things our way, because really it's kind of the first part of when people start to think it's okay to inject themselves in your relationship.
It's almost the first test.
Exactly. Like, so if someone feels like this is what I need from your big day, then they're also going to have a need for something from your life, from your relationship and your marriage.
I was just gonna let me ask you this: what if I was a family member and said, Erica, I respect what you're saying, but I babysat you when you were in diapers every day for 3 years while your mom was in grad school. I've been waiting for this day to see you get married. I really want to come and bring somebody. Like, you might have...
But 80 people?
That's a power play on the mother. Forget her. I'm just talking about,
that's different, of course. And then I would feel really terrible that I didn't invite them. And of course I would make a concession for that. But when someone's just straight up like, yeah, I'm not going to roll with that because I don't like the color.
Right.
Or, you know, I need to bring 20 people because, you know, my whole family was there when you were in diapers. Like, so I'm going to bring 20. You know, that's excessive.
And you can't get mixed into the details. Like, we had a fight about the napkins, my family, and at one point we were like, guys, what are we doing?
It gets
I was like, it's gray, it's silver, it's gray,
I think that's the whole point of the process is to get you fighting, because it's like, well, like you were talking about the dance floors, Jeff, a while back. It's like, yeah, do you love Jordan? Well, you can get her this, but if you really love her, you can get the rotating dance floor. And if you really love her, it's a neon. It's like, they manipulate you.
We had, our dance floor was like Saturday Night Fever because we planned the wedding. We actually started planning it, and then some things happened. We just went to the courthouse.
Yes.
What happened, Jeff?
Hi, Lawson. And so, but I mean, I was like so stressed out. Our dance floor was, John Travolta was out there dancing. Like, we had fireworks that we were gonna walk through on the beach. Like, flowers were everywhere. There was things floating in the pool. They added on everything. And Jordan's like, I like that. And then you come in and they're like, oh, we're just gonna keep it simple.
Right.
Dude, it was way out of control. There was no love involved. It was all business. You know what I mean? So, Lawson, I owe you one, buddy. Thanks. Thanks.
Lawson paid for his college.
Yeah, Lawson right there. He helped me out. All right, guys, into some sad news from the world of music. Today, we are remembering a New Orleans music legend, Dr. John. He passed away yesterday at the age of 77 after a heart attack. The Grammy Award winner is well known for his music, like this hit, Right Place, Wrong Time. Let's listen. There you go.
I'm just, you know, and I know you announced it as a sad thing, and obviously anytime somebody passes, it's sad. But I mean, this guy lived a life, a famous jazz musician in the most famous jazz city in the country, in the world, maybe in New Orleans. I can't imagine how many people's nights he made, how many incredible evenings he had. So his music will play on forever. He will be missed. But yeah, rest in power, Dr. John. That's awesome.
That's musicians, man. When they they know. I mean, I guess they do know, but it's like your music's going to live on way past your.
I really didn't think about that. How much when you have a musician, your legacy is in the sound, in the air, all around you, in pop culture. So bravo to Mr. Dr. John. That's amazing.
Makes me want to write a song.
You shouldn't.
And
Jeff,
it'd be about you to be a hit.
Can't wait for this.
I already have a couple lyrics in my head right now.
Boy, can't wait.
Coming up on DBL, our own Stephanie Jones is showing you how to make the most of summer flea markets this season. And Alec Baldwin says he's over playing Donald Trump on TV. So who will fill his shoes? That's next. Oh, yeah.
Hey!
Why did I just say Darren?
I don't know, and I thought you were talking about the bewitched husband.
I was like, hey, Darren.
It was really weird.
I don't know why I did that at all.
You have no idea what's going on, Big Chris.
There's words in my ear on the screen. There's too many
Kimberly
words.
Matusik says, I've already shut down both of our parents for trying to invite their friends. She's getting married soon. We understand they've been their friends for a long time, but it's our wedding. No one is helping us pay for it. And then John Venturini says, I love when DBL is an audience.
An audience?
Yeah, studio audience.
I think it changed the dynamic if you had like
I've got to be
some
honest,
people
it helps me stay much more fresh.
here. What?
If there's an audience.
Well, because you like really quieted down.
Because I kill the mood.
It's almost amazing how.
There's a vacuum, and I know what you're doing, and I'm closing and taking my water with me.
Pete, what's up? Yeah, buddy. Hey, guys. All right.
Okay, ready? Let's play the TV show lyric game.
Okay, go.
Okay, try and sing the opening to Who's the Boss?
There's a path you take and a path not taken.
Wow!
The choice is
Up to you, my friend.
Dude, that was really
That was
good.
amazing.
Me and my brother, when we go fishing in Canada, like we used to go every year. So you got to paddle like forever, and we like play this game and like try to.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, see how far you can get. There's a time for love and
The time for living.
for living. You're right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Choice is up to you, my friend.
And then what?
I don't know.
An open road and a road
not taken.
That's hidden. A brand new life
Around the bend.
around the bend. There were times, God dang it, when I lost a dream or found the trail, and baby, at the end was you. There's a path you take and a path not taken. The choice is up to you, my friend. Nights are long, but you might awake. A brand new.
Welcome back to DBL. Erica, what day is it?
Friday!
There you go. And this weekend you might get cozy on the couch and watch some TV. So we're breaking down the latest.
Nope.
TV news.
That was the wrong graphic.
On the rocks.
There we go. It's Friday. It's all right. Alec Baldwin says he's done playing Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live, and he's played the president since 2016, if you can remember. Baldwin told USA Today he wants to spend more time with his family. The show takes over his whole weekend, and he doesn't want to play Trump anymore. He wants executive producer Lauren Michaels to, quote, find somebody who wants to do it.
He walked into Salt and Straw when I was scooping ice cream, Alec Baldwin, and I went up to him and I said, "Here's
What did he order?
He ordered sea salt caramel.
Oh, that's a good one.
No, I didn't. And and I said, "Thank you so much for playing Trump. I think you're so great." And he said, "I just want you to know the amount of hate I get on a daily basis is incredible." And he said, "Thank you so much," but it's just people yelling at him with his children as if they have the right to do so. And so I think it's taken its toll.
I can believe that because I remember watching an interview with Tina Fey, who had a very similar experience with Sarah Palin. Not only that, but people have to understand that you almost it's like a Steve Urkel, or it's like such a marquee. That was my reference. A marquee character. You don't want that to be your legacy,
The defining moment, right?
Because it's something that you just happen to look like and be good at, not necessarily where your passion for your entire career
He was doing
lies.
Lauren Michaels just a favor to play it for the first couple times, and then it just stuck.
Right? And honestly, I thought my buddy Frank Caliendo would be great to play Trump.
Yeah.
But honestly, just knowing his personality, Frank is like an easygoing, get-along guy. He wouldn't 5 tweets in of like Trump hate kind of stuff.
He would take off.
And he would just be out. Like, you have to be wired a certain way to deal with that, because no matter how strong you say you are or how strong you are, you get worn down day after day. You check your mentions, I hate you, blah, blah, blah. So I understand it's going to take a different person to step into those shoes, because as soon as you do, 50% of the country hates you.
I wonder if Daryl Hammond would do it again. He was always excellent.
Who knows?
Okay.
We'll have to ask
there
Lauren
he
Michaels.
is. Hey,
there he is.
He was great.
All right, hold on to your HBO subscriptions if you haven't already. You're going to want to binge on Chernobyl. Fans and critics are calling the miniseries one of the best shows on TV. Chernobyl tells the true story of one of the world's worst nuclear disasters, when a reactor exploded in 1986, causing mass amounts of radiation exposure, forcing a permanent evacuation of the town. Here's the trailer.
I'm pleased to report that the situation in Chernobyl is stable. In terms of radiation, I'm told it's the equivalent of a chest x-ray.
No, Chernobyl is on fire.
And now get this, tourists are actually flocking to the abandoned site. Tourism has spiked since the show's debut. The last episode aired on Monday. This is not a good idea, just so you know.
If you don't know, Chernobyl was a nuclear reactor making power, and it exploded, and the reactor literally came through the ceiling and the roof, and radiation was a plume of it all the way across Central Europe. And they tried to cover it up, and within a few hours that they had let it go, it could have been a global problem. So this is a major deal, and I just don't understand people rushing to go see a nuclear reactive place. It's still nuclear reactive.
And the half-lives of some of these elements that they're dealing with are 24,000 years.
Yes.
It's going to be going on forever. You don't want to come back from vacation with radiation.
No.
So just don't. Go to Hawaii.
There's nicer places.
Jamaica's right there. U.S. Virgin Islands. Shall I continue?
No.
Maybe during the break, I'd like to hear a few more. Okay. Coming up on DBL, easy tips and tricks to make the most out of your local flea market this summer. Don't miss it when DBL comes back.
Hey DBL Nation, I know, not the face you were expecting, right? Well, it's the face that I want though. It's kind of freaking cool, okay? Welcome back to another episode of Beauty Blast, guys. I'm Rafe for this lay. Today we're talking about LED masks. Dr. Dennis Gross actually has been hooking us up, and I really want to talk to you guys about this product because it is life-changing. Now, if you don't know about LED light therapy, today's your day, guys. These are amazing products that will help to make sure that you're actually smoothing, brightening, and actually resurfacing your skin at times too. Now, LED light therapy can be used with red, blue, green lights, but with this light mask you have the option of red, blue, which kind of looks a little bit more pink blue to me, and a mix of red and blue. The red is going to help with anti-aging. This is going to help to make sure that any wrinkles or texture in the skin is being smoothed out and being plumped up as well. Now the blue, which looks a little blue-pink to me, this guy is going to be helping with acne. If you suffer from acne, this is going to be the best for you. It's going to help to make sure that we're diminishing any bacteria and helping to make sure that you can prevent acne breakouts as well. Now the last one is a mixture. This is great for people who have adult acne or who maybe have suffered from acne scarring or who just have a little bit of everything going on. This is going to be the light that you want to be on. Now the best part about this, guys, the treatment is only for 3 minutes. It's auto shut off. You put it right over your face for about 3 minutes here and relax. It even comes with a little hair pull or a adjustment so that you can keep this on your head and kind of walk around and do whatever you need. Now personally, I like to lay back and enjoy this and you know, relax for my full 3 minutes. Make sure that I'm keeping my beauty time for me, guys. So guys, as you can tell, this mask is amazing. It's practically the future. You can have a whole light therapy just for you at home without seeing a professional, without leaving your house. Who doesn't want that? So if you
Welcome back to DBL. Summer is a fantastic time to get out in the nice weather for garage sales and flea markets. So check out my tips for flea market success in this DBL Decked Out presented by Sunsetter Awnings. DBL Nation, I'm at the flea market, so we're going to go shopping. I've got my list and we are going to find some treasures. Always be sure to plan ahead. I recommend bringing a list of items that you're looking for and even have measurements of your space, especially if you're in the market for larger items. If you're trying to match decor, bring photos or fabric swatches and it's bound to help. I think that's gonna work. How much is the picture with the giraffes on it? 45. It's really important to create relationships. If you get to know the vendors, they might just give you a special deal. Is the price negotiable? Check each item before you buy and never be afraid to make an offer. If you see a scratch or a scuff, you might just get a discount. What about $40? Also, know your maximum price before you begin to bargain. If you hit that and the vendor won't budge, just walk away. Thank you. You'll never know when they might change their mind. 15.
Only for you.
For more ways to get the most out of summer, call Sunsetter Awnings at 1-800-507-3152. So now you guys know how to find all the best deals this summer. Happy shopping. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration.
All right, it is Friday, last break of the day. Everybody's got, Jeff, you're gonna go and have a beer and place a bet on some ponies?
Maybe tonight.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I like betting on the ponies once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm reading my niece right now, though, to see, because my niece is a swimmer. She's a really good swimmer. And we're talking about doing this triathlon thing.
Bye.
Bye, Patty. So we're talking about doing this triathlon. And, we already talked about it, right?
We're looking for one other person.
Yeah.
Erica said she's going to get in there.
I better try
Yeah,
before
Erica did not say that. In fact, I asked, do you not know who
honestly,
you're talking
like,
to?
all jokes aside, I've learned a lot from Erica about turning things down. Because I would just do things because I didn't want to. Erica's like, yeah, I can't make that. And I'm like, are you out of town? No, I'm here. I'm just not doing that.
You know that?
It's not bad. She doesn't want to. It's so honest, and you're like, okay.
It's that quote, I'm sorry I'm late, I didn't want to come in the first place.
No, here's the thing. I
appreciate that.
It's
Yeah,
great.
because
like,
here-
I've really taken that from you.
Well, no, and here's the reason why. Because one, I do think that time is a very, very valuable commodity, like one of the most valuable things that we have. And I want to spend time with people.
So band just walked by.
I want to spend time with people.
I'm feeling hot.
But don't you want it to be like a mutual thing? Like, you don't want people. I hate when people feel like they're forced to come to something for me.
But for some reason, Al and I have a hard time saying no is something that's like
You're
both
the
comics,
exact
like,
opposite.
we're people
of her.
pleasers.
She says, no, I'm not going. You say, yes, I'm going, but don't show up.
That's not true.
That's a good point.
That's not true.
It's not true. You don't think I have a point?
intervention?
I'm not being picking on you. Don't bite your fingers off.
I'm not.
Is that true?
Tori,
When
you
is
mean
the-
Tori the Flake Schulman?
I don't think that's
That
fair.
would be.
That's not
I
fair.
was sick, and you guys all said I was visiting my mom, and you guys talked about
not.
it.
Are you out of your
I'm
mind? That was
also-
a week ago.
Dude,
We've been
I'm
here
a
for
person
2
that wants to
years.
be with you guys all the time. So why would I be afraid?
Why do you think
If
we're
we
all
say
looking
we're
at you
having
like
a
that,
big,
Tori?
if we say we're committing to something in like a month, you're all in until it's time
That's
to do.
not true. I don't think that's true.
Jeff, if we
Is that true? I'm not being.
if
I'm
we
not even
say- if
being
we
mad.
say- all right, this-
Erica's just staying
Now,
out of
Jeff,
it.
you and
I
I.
love being with you guys.
I wasn't there.
But you don't like to commit to big.
We like
things.
to place a wager every once in a while. If you had to put some like just percentages, if we said we're all going to meet for appetizers at
But
7
I love
o'clock
being with you guys.
on a Wednesday,
No.
what do you?
She would
put-
say
what do you-
yes
what do you
right
put
now,
the chance
but
of
you
her
would not
showing
go.
up?
But I always go to those things. Don't you think?
Oh,
You've gotten a
we
little
stopped
bit
doing
better,
them.
but there was a
We
I was
stopped
with you
doing
guys
them.
all the time.
There was
Season
a
one,
dip.
season, I like never flaked.
And then it kind of just fizzled out, and we don't do them anymore.
Yeah, I know.
That's because of you.
I was there.
We blame you. Welcome back to DBL. South Carolina middle school teacher is going viral for his tribute to Beyonce. He promised a student he would learn to dance to the song Before I Let Go if the student aced an exam. She did, and he kept his promise, and it's pretty good. Talk about dedication. The teacher knew the 14-year-old student loved dancing and gave her an incentive she could not refuse. Ooh, that's like an ultimatum.
I know, it's a Godfather.
I don't know if it's just her that loves the dance.
But she did choreograph this whole dance herself,
love
and
it.
he does it justice. I'm telling you.
And I love that he thought, here's an incentive, a positive thing she can reach for. She got it, and it all it's a win-win.
Absolutely.
That's really
Good week,
Shout out
guys.
to
I
us.
enjoyed it. Good job, everybody.
Good
We'll see you
job.
on Monday, same time, same place. Have a good weekend, everybody.